Chapter 743. Lin Xian engraved the pattern of the red lotus armor on his body, forming a solid defense to resist the terrifying flames. It was because of this defense that he dared to absorb so much at once. The spiritual fire of the flaming mountain combined with the 1,000-year-old flaming fruit to form a powerful spiritual energy that attacked Lin Xian's meridians. Go all out. Lin Xian gritted his teeth and crazily circulated the longevity art. The process was very slow and lasted for 5 days. After all, it was not that easy to break through to the honorable realm. After 5 days, he had gathered enough spiritual energy and his body overflowed with flames that kept jumping. It's about time. Feeling the spiritual energy in his body, Lin Xian decided to start breaking through to the honorable realm. In the honorable realm, it was no longer a qi but a martial soul. The martial soul was the source of the honorable realm's power. Lin Xian had already condensed his martial soul and gathered a lot of energy. He already had the possibility of breaking through to the honorable realm. In his body, the dragon sword soul coiled up and formed a mini dragon. He roared at the sky and sucked a lot of spiritual energy into his body. Buzz! A low sound was heard like thunder. A huge aura overflowed as if a peerless beast had awakened. The dragon sword soul flickered and kept absorbing the spiritual energy around it. It became brighter and gradually solidified from its original illusory appearance. Lin Xian knew that the dragon sword soul was awakening. When it fully awakened, it would enter the honorable realm. However, the dragon sword soul was too powerful. It was like a bottomless pit that crazily devoured spiritual energy. Soon, the spiritual energy in Lin Xian's body was depleted. However, Lin Xian was well prepared this time. He could not afford to fail. He swallowed another 1,000-year-old spiritual fruit and quickly absorbed the surrounding fire attribute spiritual energy. Roar! The dragon sword soul trembled and the light on its body became brighter and brighter. His body was also slowly growing. In the end, it roared and raised its head high. Boom! Lin Xian's body shook. He felt an inexplicable change in his body. It was as if his entire body had been sublimated. I broke through. He was pleasantly surprised. This feeling was too wonderful. It was as if his body had endless power. Furthermore, he discovered that his control over the great dragon sword soul had become even more proficient. It was as if the two had merged into one. With a flash, Lin Xian charged into the sky. Endless light bloomed from his body, forming a light dragon that soared into the 9 heavens. This feeling was too wonderful. What is that, a dragon? On the flaming mountain, many people raised their heads in shock. The power just now was too overwhelming, and the entire flaming mountain could feel it. They originally wanted to see what kind of person could actually cause such a big commotion. However, before they could move, a dragon's roar appeared in the sky. Could it really be a dragon? Many people were excited. This kind of thing that only existed in legends, they didn't expect it to really exist. Impossible, that's not a dragon, but some kind of powerful martial skill. An expert looked at the sky and said, "How could a divine beast like a dragon appear here?" Quite a few people shook their heads. They knew that it was impossible for a dragon to appear on the martial heaven continent. However, in the next moment they were stunned once again. The reason for that was because, not long after that light dragon's silhouette appeared, another dragon roar sounded. Following that, an even larger body appeared in the sky. This time it was no longer a silhouette but a real body. Those sinisterly flickering scales bloomed with a cold light in the air, and a powerful pressure enveloped the surroundings. Ha ha ha! An extremely arrogant voice sounded, as if a peerless demon had appeared. Lin Xian felt this aura and was slightly surprised. This was the aura of the dark red divine dragon. He didn't expect that the other party had also broken through to the venerable realm. Hee little Xian, let's fight. The dark red divine dragon laughed sinisterly, and a huge dragon claw grabbed at Lin Xian. After breaking through to the venerable realm, his body was 100 meters long, and Lin Xian's light dragon was only 10 meters long. Therefore this claw completely enveloped Lin Xian. Just nice, I can test my strength after breaking through. Lin Xian smiled, swung the dragon's head and won. Whoosh! He turned into a bolt of lightning, quickly dodging the attack and then went up against the wind. The two of them fought fiercely, stirring up the wind and clouds in the flaming mountain, shocking the surrounding martial artists. The two dragons are fighting? Many people rubbed their eyes in disbelief. After a few clashes, Lin Xian had a better understanding of his own strength. Most likely, ordinary second-level venerables were no match for him at all. If he fought with all his strength, he might be able to fight against the third-level venerables. Ouch, it hurts. As expected of an offensive saint technique. The dark red divine dragon muttered. "Alright, don't attract the attention of others." Lin Xian shouted, turned into his human form and landed on the ground. The dark red divine dragon also howled and turned into a 1-meter-long dragon again. Wuji the snow-white little monkey found a pile of spirit fruits from God knows where and ate them very happily. This little guy didn't need to cultivate and could improve just by eating spirit fruits. Was amazing. Lin Xian didn't know what realm the little white monkey had reached, but the other party was an ordinary first-level venerable, so he didn't feel any pressure at all. Now that his cultivation had broken through, the next step was the concept of fire. Lin Xian looked toward the depths of the flaming mountain. Now that his strength had increased, he could set off from here. Let's go and take a look. Lin Xian was very curious about the depths of the flaming mountain. One man and two beasts walked toward the depths. Lin Xian walked steadily along the winding mountain path. The temperature in front of him rose again and orange flames appeared. It was very terrifying. Even though Lin Xian had broken through, he didn't dare to be careless. He realized that this orange flame could already threaten a second-level venerable. At least if he was careless he could die. How deep was the flaming mountain? Lin Xian was shocked. He had just entered the mountain and was already facing a threat. He really didn't know what kind of danger there would be inside. Alright, I can't go any further. Lin Xian stopped. He realized that with his strength he wouldn't be able to withstand it if he went any further. The dark red divine dragon also looked around curiously. Its body was tough and didn't fear the flames at all. However, it was indeed unbearably hot. At this moment it stuck out its tongue and was sweating profusely. Damn, what the hell is this place? It's so hot. The little white monkey also looked dispirited. It plucked a leaf and covered its head. Comprehending the concept of fire here. Lin Xian sat down cross-legged and carefully comprehended it. He had once possessed the black dragon flames and had mastered many concepts. Therefore he was very good at comprehending concepts. When he was in the periphery he had already achieved great success in the concept of fire. Now he was only one step away from achieving great perfection. However, this step was more difficult than all the previous steps combined. Just as Lin Xian was comprehending, the other martial artists in the flaming mountain rushed over. They wanted to see where the divine dragon was. However, they didn't find anything because Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon had already left their original place and went deeper. This aura, someone broke through here. Chapter 744. Could it be related to the two dragons that appeared? Everyone was puzzled. Impossible. Judging from this aura, he's only breaking through to the venerable realm. Someone said disdainfully. Suddenly, that person's expression froze as if he had thought of something. Someone below the venerable realm is actually fine here? How is that possible? Hearing that, many cultivators gasped. They were all venerable realm cultivators and naturally knew how terrifying this place was. Cultivators below the venerable realm had no chance of surviving here. However, someone had broken through here, and his cultivation hadn't even reached the venerable realm before. This was too shocking. Maybe he's not alone. He might have an expert accompanying him. Yes, that must be it. The cultivators became more and more certain of their thoughts. Then they discussed for a while and finally left. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. In the belly of the mountain of flames, Lin Xian continued to comprehend the concept of fire. Not long ago he encountered another flame spirit and obtained a lot of benefits after killing it. Now he was even closer to the great perfection realm. Perhaps he would succeed with another flame spirit. Lin Xian was excited. It was as if the heavens were helping him. Not long after, the surrounding flames burned brightly and jumped, condensing into a giant lava beast. A scorching and powerful aura surged out and swept in all directions as if the god of fire had appeared. That aura was stronger than that of an ordinary second-level venerable. It's here. Lin Xian focused his gaze and looked ahead. It was a 3-meter-tall stone man with countless cracks on his body. Countless flames emerged from those cracks and enveloped his entire body. In his eye sockets, there were 2 orange-red flames jumping, showing a trace of the aura of a soul. Very strong. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He didn't dare to underestimate it. The strength displayed by the other party was at least that of a second-level venerable. It was definitely incomparably powerful. His figure flashed and turned into a ray of light, rushing forward quickly. Whoosh! In an instant he arrived in front of the lava giant. He clenched his fist and flames danced around him, condensing into a flame sword in his hand. Whoosh! The sword slashed down and a blazing sword light rushed out. It was dazzling like a sea of fire. This sword was extremely violent, like a fire dragon that lowered its head and bit down. Brr. The lava giant roared in anger. It clenched its rock-like palm and suddenly blasted it out. Terrifying energy surged out like a volcanic eruption, causing everything in the surroundings to collapse. Boom. The two collided, and a terrifying energy storm swept out, tearing apart the ground in front of them and causing the surrounding mountains to collapse. Both of them took a step back and quickly removed the force from their bodies. This attack was actually evenly matched. But very quickly the magma beast attacked again. He pounded the ground with his large hands, shattering it. Then, with a roar, the flames on his body became even more dazzling, making him look like a fireball. Lin Xian frowned slightly. The giant lava beast's strength was beyond his expectations. Moreover, its defense was extremely strong. His sword strike just now had actually failed to cut it apart. He snorted coldly and mobilized the great dragon sword soul in his body to form another flaming sword. This time, the fiery light that filled the sky condensed, forming a crimson divine sword that was 3 feet long. There were crimson markings on it, and it was extremely mysterious. Sword of Summer, scorching sun in the sky. Lin Xian raised his sword high and chopped down with all his might. In the sky, the crimson sword erupted like a golden sun, incomparably dazzling. The light contained a peerless sharpness that was unstoppable, easily tearing apart the void. The magma beast felt danger and roared uneasily. Flames flickered all over his body, and he turned into a volcano and rushed over. Everywhere he passed, the ground cracked. Even a second-level honorable would not dare to easily resist such power. Destroy. In the sky, the golden sun-like sword fell, destroying everything and instantly striking the magma beast. Ka-whoosh. The sword light flashed, and the magma beast's body stiffened. The rocks on his body kept falling off, and finally turned into a pile of rubble. In the pile of rubble, there was a fist-sized orange-red flame that kept on pulsing. Flame essence. Lin Xian's eyes flashed as he sucked the flame essence into his hand and began to absorb it. The flame essence this time was very powerful, more powerful than the previous two combined. In addition to Lin Xian's superb perception and rich experience, his concept of fire had finally reached perfection after a day. This time Lin Xian's feeling towards the flaming mountain had changed. It was no longer the kind of rejection, but an unusual feeling of closeness. He knew that this was because his concept of fire had reached perfection. If he could condense a fire soul, then his fusion with flames would be even greater. At that time, all the flames in the world would be at his disposal. "Hey, it's you." Suddenly a soft voice was heard. Lin Xian looked back and saw a fiery red figure floating over from behind. Dongfang Fenghuang. Lin Xian was slightly stunned. He did not expect to meet her here. However, he soon understood. She was a fire attribute genius, and it was most suitable for her to cultivate here. "You, what are you doing here?" Dongfang Fenghuang stared at Lin Xian with a puzzled expression. "Of course I'm here to cultivate. What else can I do?" Lin Xian shrugged. "Cultivate?" Dongfang Fenghuang sneered. "You have the leisure to do so. Your Dragon Sword Pavilion is about to be destroyed and you're still leisurely cultivating here? I really don't know if there's water in your brain." "What did you say?" Lin Xian's expression changed. "You don't know?" This time it was Dongfang Fenghuang's turn to be surprised. She snorted. "These days, the greedy wolf's people have been looking for trouble with you every day. Your friends have been bullied very badly. The outside world said that you didn't dare to fight and ran away. I didn't expect you to not know." Greedy wolf. Lin Xian's expression was gloomy, and murderous intent appeared in his eyes. He did not expect that the Dragon Sword Pavilion would be in trouble just a few days after he left. "You better go take a look. Otherwise your friends will be in trouble," Dongfang Fenghuang said. "Thank you." Lin Xian cupped his hands, then turned into a stream of light and disappeared. "This guy runs pretty fast." Dongfang Fenghuang curled her lips, then looked stunned. "No, this kid's cultivation." Her beautiful eyes revealed a trace of surprise. When she first saw Lin Xian, although he was powerful, his cultivation was at the limit of the spiritual detecting realm. Just now he had the aura of an honorable. This kid he broke through? Dongfang Fenghuang was shocked. In less than a month, he broke through from the limit of the spiritual detecting realm to the honorable realm. This leap was too big. Even a peerless genius would not have such a cultivation speed. Could it be that this kid had a fortuitous encounter? Dongfang Fenghuang could not understand. She decided that when she returned, she would properly meet this Lin Xian. Lin Xian sped all the way and soon he returned to the Immortal Martial Academy. Without any hesitation, Lin Xian ran toward the new student's dormitory. His eyes shone with a cold light. Previously, when he beat up the greedy wolf, he thought that it would teach him a lesson. He did not expect that the greedy wolf would become even more arrogant. In the next moment, the golden palm flickered like a huge mountain and quickly grabbed at him again. "Block it for me." The gray-clothed youth roared and punched out. A gray bat appeared in the air. It was 100 feet long and emitted a murderous aura as if it was really a fierce beast. It let out a mournful cry and quickly rushed into the sky as if it was going to tear the sky apart. Bang! The golden palm waved and destroyed the gray bat, then quickly grabbed at the gray-clothed youth. "No, this is impossible." The gray-clothed youth was shocked and his eyelids twitched. He once again launched a terrifying attack, but it was useless. He couldn't hurt the golden palm at all. "Brother Gue, save me." The gray-clothed youth cried out loudly, no longer as arrogant as before. Yu Gui's expression was cold. He pointed a finger and a huge finger light rushed out with a purple-black light. It was as if a demon king was rampaging through the void. However, in the next moment, the golden palm suddenly accelerated and avoided the purple-black light, then slapped the gray-clothed youth to the ground. Bang! The ground trembled as if there was an earthquake. If it weren't for the protection of the defensive formation, the surrounding 100 miles would have collapsed. What? The other members of the greedy wolf gang were shocked. This method was too fierce and beyond their expectations. Even Yugui was surprised. Then his face darkened. The other party was actually able to dodge his attack, which surprised him. Moreover, what was even more hateful was that the other party didn't even show his face and injured his subordinate in front of him. If this spread, he would lose face. "Who is it? Come out!" Yugui shouted angrily. The other members of the greedy wolf gang also shouted coldly, "How dare you interfere with our greedy wolf gang's matters? You're dead." "How arrogant!" A cold voice sounded. "However, in front of me, you don't have the right to be arrogant. Don't you like to torture people? Today I'll let you play to your heart's content." Then the golden palm waved again, grabbing the gray-clothed youth in the deep pit on the ground and waving him in the air before slapping him down again. Bang! 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 The ground trembled as if an ancient giant was walking. The gray-clothed youth felt dizzy, and he felt as if his entire body was about to split open. He was about to go crazy and even had the thought of dying. He struggled with all his might, but it was useless. Below, the group of freshmen were stunned. This method is too terrifying. Who is it that's so powerful? Someone who dares to offend the greedy wolf gang and is willing to help the Dragon Sword Pavilion? Could it be Lin Xian? Impossible. Although that guy has some ability, he's not that terrifying. Didn't you see that Yu Gui's attack was dodged? That's a second-level venerable. No matter how powerful Lin Xian was, it was impossible for him to be stronger than a second-level venerable. Everyone shook their heads in disbelief. Wang Li and the rest were abnormally excited. "Older brother Xian, it's older brother Xian." In the Immortal Martial Academy, other than Lin Xian, no expert would save them. Older brother Xian broke through. "That's great. Brat, don't be too arrogant. Let go." Yu Gui was furious. Beating up his underling in front of so many people was equivalent to slapping his face. "Arrogant? Am I arrogant? Compared to your greedy wolf gang, I'm still lacking." The golden palm slapped down, tearing apart the formation that trapped the members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion, and then threw the gray-clothed youth over. "I don't need to say how to deal with this, right, boss?" The three Hao brothers and the rest were agitated. "Brothers, let's take revenge." 11 members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion pounced forward. Chapter 746. The gray-clothed youth screamed miserably as he was tortured by the Dragon Sword Pavilion. In the sky, the members of the Ravenous Wolf Gang looked gloomy with a trace of fear. "No one can save you if you offend the Ravenous Wolf Gang." Yu Gui's voice was filled with killing intent. "No one can save you if you offend the Dragon Sword Pavilion." The cold voice sounded again. "You're courting death." Yu Gui was furious. He pointed his 5 fingers at the sky and shot out 5 thick finger beams in all directions. Each beam was as thick as a mountain and as sharp as a demonic spear. They pierced through the void. However, when these attacks hit the void and stirred up a violent storm, they were unable to force the other party out. If you offend the Dragon Sword Pavilion, you will be punished accordingly. Now atone for your sins. The voice reverberated as countless light swords appeared in the sky. Sword chi flickered and filled the sky. Each light sword shone with a cold light. Although they were condensed from spiritual energy, they were extremely terrifying and were not weaker than treasures. The moment dozens of light swords appeared, the sky changed color and an endless murderous aura filled the air. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the next moment, these light swords all slashed towards the members of the Ravenous Wolf Gang. Not good run. The members of the Ravenous Wolf Gang were so scared that their faces turned green and their scalps went numb. The aura was too terrifying and they definitely could not resist it. Yugui was furious and counterattacked as well. However, there were too many light swords and he could not deal with them at all. Bang bang bang. Violent collisions and screams sounded. Every time there was a sound, a member of the Ravenous Wolf Gang would be killed. As for the members of the Ravenous Wolf Gang who fell to the ground, they were surrounded by Wang Li and the others and beaten up. In just an instant, other than Yugui, everyone else in the sky was killed. Everyone below was shocked as if they were dreaming. Yugui's expression was even uglier. He was so angry that he shouted, "Who are you? Come out. You don't even know who I am and you dare to behave atrociously here?" A disdainful voice sounded. Then a figure appeared. "Kid, it's you." Yugui was shocked when he saw it. The people below were even more shocked. "Lin Xian? How is that possible? When did he become so strong? He can even fight against the second stage venerable. Oh my god, is he still a freshman?" Countless people exclaimed. Yugui was also shocked. He stared at Lin Xian and suddenly said, "You broke through. Exalt Realm. That's impossible." He screamed, his face full of shock. A few days ago he was still an extreme martial artist, yet he had broken through to the Venerable Realm in just over 10 days? This cultivation speed had overturned his understanding. That's impossible. Even a peerless genius wouldn't be able to do that. Yugui didn't believe it. "Don't use your useless brain to guess my affairs," Lin Xian said disdainfully. "Didn't you say you were looking for me? Here I am." This voice was very calm, but it was incomparably domineering. But Yugui was stunned and didn't make a move. "What? You don't dare?" Lin Xian sneered. "You've been scheming for so long. You've been squatting in the freshman area for more than 10 days. Wasn't it all because you wanted to make a move on me? Are you scared now? What's the difference between a person like you and a cowardly piece of trash? Kid, don't be too proud." Yugui's face was gloomy. "Although you've broken through, you're not a threat to me at all. I'll let you know the difference between a first-level venerable and a second-level venerable." "Difference?" Lin Xian laughed. "I'll also let you know how ignorant you are. Impudent, die for me." Yugui shouted angrily and raised his hand to attack. A huge purple-black skeleton appeared in the sky, surrounded by purple-black demonic chi. It was like a demon from hell and its body was full of killing intent. Its 2 eyes were cold and flashed with a purple light. It was terrifying. Whoosh. Following Yugui's movements, the huge purple-black skeleton also moved quickly. Its pair of ghost claws could shatter heaven and earth as it grabbed at Lin Xian. Vermilion bird seal. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palm and quickly blasted it out. On his fingertip, countless fiery red auras surrounded it and rushed out quickly. Then a huge vermilion bird flew out from Lin Xian's fingertip. It spread its wings and soared, suppressing the 9 heavens. When it spread its wings, it was hundreds of feet long. Its body was bathed in flames, and its feathers were crystal clear. After the concept of fire reached perfection, the power of the vermilion bird seal became even stronger. It was as if it could burn everything in the world. The fiery red vermilion bird was as tall as a mountain. Its body was covered in a blazing light as it rushed upward. Its sharp claws and wings flapped, as if it could split the heavens and earth. Boom, boom. With a claw, the vermilion bird tore the huge purple-black skeleton apart. Then it turned into a ball of divine fire and burned it. A strong wind blew, and only powder floated down. Yugui's pupils constricted. His ultimate technique was broken just like that? He felt fear in his heart. Yugui wanted to retreat because the other party was too strange. However, Lin Xian did not give him a chance at all. The vermilion bird seal was used again and it quickly blasted over. The flames burned fiercely as if a sun was rampaging through the void. Yugui could not dodge, so he could only resist. Boom. The vermilion bird slammed into Yugui's body, and then a powerful energy attack exploded. Yugui only lasted for a moment before he was sent flying. Blood was left behind in the air. A second-level venerable had been defeated in one strike. Everyone below was stunned. Lin Xian's strength had completely exceeded their expectations. Especially those from the greedy wolf gang, they were in despair. Impossible. Yu Gui stood up in the void with difficulty, his eyes filled with shock and fear. Brat, I won't let you off, he said hatefully. Then, purple-black chi rose from his body as he tried to escape. Don't you think it's too late to leave? Lin Xian sneered. You injured my Dragon Sword Pavilion's people, and you want to leave just like that? He snorted coldly and pulled out his sword. Autumn Sword Prairie Fire. Countless flames rushed out from the tip of the sword and quickly spread in all directions. Soon the entire sky was a sea of fire. Terrifying heat waves spread out in all directions, melting the void. One sword had sealed the world in all directions. Now it was time to settle the score. Lin Xian took a step forward and instantly appeared beside Yu Gui. His 5 fingers were like swords, piercing into the purple-black demonic chi. Ah! In the next moment Yu Gui screamed. I've already transformed into an illusory body. How can you hurt me? He screamed in horror. I've said it before. Don't use your useless brain to think about my matters. Lin Xian said disdainfully. With your strength, you dare to touch the Dragon Sword Pavilion? You're courting death. He clenched his 5 fingers, causing Yu Gui to scream even more miserably. Soon, Yu Gui transformed back into his human form. Brat, if you dare to touch me, the greedy wolf gang won't let you off. Full. Lin Xian snorted. No need to say such harsh words. I don't intend to let the greedy wolf gang off either. He flicked his finger and a sharp sword light condensed on his fingertip. If you dare to touch my brother, you will pay the price in blood. Poof. The sword light pierced into Yu Gui's body. This sword is for Wang Li. Poof. This sword is for Liang Wei. Poof. Poof. These 3 swords are for the 3 Hao brothers. Chapter 747. In an instant, 11 light swords appeared on Yu Gui's body and pierced through his body. Wang Li and the other members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion clenched their fists in excitement. They had been tortured by Yu Gui and the others for more than 10 days and now they could finally spit out their anger. Even the spectating freshmen were excited as they felt their blood boil. Scram. If you dare to provoke the Dragon Sword Pavilion again, your fates will be even more miserable. Lin Xian coldly snorted, then turned and flew down. Brother Xian. Wang Li and the others shouted respectfully. Are you guys all right? Lin Xian asked. It's fine, we can still withstand this kind of injury. The main thing is that the other party is too much of a bully. Yeah, being trapped for 7 or 8 days is too stifling. But now it's good, Brother Xian has helped us vent our anger. The group of people said excitedly. Don't worry, this matter won't end so easily. Even if the greed gang agrees, I won't. Brother Xian, could it be that you want to? A few of them were uncertain. You guys recuperate first, then go to Lion Moon City to get the pills. Once your cultivation has increased, I'll take you guys to take revenge. There's no need for the greed gang to exist. Lin Xian's eyes flashed as a domineering aura rose from his body. Yes, sir. Everyone was excited. They knew that the Dragon Sword Pavilion was about to rise. Lin Xian, I wonder if your Dragon Sword Pavilion is still recruiting? A few freshmen surrounded him. They saw Lin Xian's powerful methods and terrifying battle prowess and yearned for it. Furthermore, after staying in the academy for a period of time, they would join a society. Instead of going to those big societies to be a lackey, it would be better to follow a new society like the Dragon Sword Pavilion. The Dragon Sword Pavilion has just been established, so we do need a lot of manpower. However, we only accept brave warriors. We don't need cowards. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. If you are willing to take risks, willing to fight and like challenges, then you are welcome to join the Dragon Sword Pavilion. Lin Xian said, I have the confidence to lead you to the peak and let you feel the feeling of looking down on the world from the clouds. This process will definitely be difficult. For example, once you join, you will face the threat of the greed gang. Please consider it carefully. Of course, as long as I'm here, I won't let anyone from the Dragon Sword Pavilion be bullied. Lin Xian's words were very truthful, without any exaggeration. He spoke of the advantages and disadvantages of the Dragon Sword Pavilion. This would scare off a portion of the people, but it would also eliminate the unsuitable weaklings for the Dragon Sword Pavilion. I'm in. I'll join too. After some consideration, many people decided to join the Dragon Sword Pavilion. It was for no other reason than Lin Xian's monstrous strength and talent alone. It was worth it for them to risk it all. These people weren't weaklings. To be able to enter the Immortal Martial Academy, They were all people with extraordinary talent and strength. They had a feeling that Lin Xian could soar into the sky. And at that time, the Dragon Sword Pavilion might even become a colossus within the Immortal Martial Academy. Alright. Since we've joined, we're all brothers. Lin Xian smiled. Wang Li, make the arrangements. After that, Lin Xian handed these matters over to Wang Li and the others, while he himself formulated a set of rules for the Dragon Sword Pavilion. A total of more than 20 people joined, and the Dragon Sword Pavilion's members increased again, reaching 32 people. Of these 32 people, 13 had reached the Venerable Realm, and the rest were half-step Venerable Realm. Although they weren't much in the Immortal Martial Academy in the outside world, they were definitely a terrifying group of people. After entering the Dragon Sword Pavilion, we're all brothers. If there's something for me, there's also something for you. Lin Xian said in a clear voice. I guarantee that you'll have a lot of cultivation techniques, pills and treasures in the future, and they'll all be of the best quality. Of course, the Dragon Sword Pavilion also has its own rules. Firstly, no betrayal. Secondly, no killing of fellow disciples. No bullying of the weak. No. Lin Xian said a total of 10 rules, and these 10 rules became the iron rules of the Dragon Sword Pavilion. No one was to challenge them. The 32 youths looked at Lin Xian, feeling agitated. Every time Lin Xian said a rule, they shouted loudly. This was a group of hot-blooded youths. They relied on their hot-bloodedness and trust in Lin Xian to join the Dragon Sword Pavilion. However, they did not expect that Lin Xian would be so powerful, allowing the Dragon Sword Pavilion to soar into the sky. Many years later, when they stood at the peak of the Immortal Martial Academy and even the peak of the Blood Domain, they could still recall this scene. Their lives were worth it. After settling the 32 people, Lin Xian returned to the courtyard. He had already broken through to the Venerable Realm, and his strength had increased greatly. He had to consider what to do next. It was impossible to raise his cultivation in a short period of time because it was too difficult to raise his cultivation in the Venerable Realm. Every step was like ascending to the heavens. One had to have enough accumulation and luck in order to break through. Therefore, if he wanted to break through, he had to have enough heavenly materials and earthly treasures. And in the academy, all of this was spirit value points. Other than that, there was also the matter of dragon blood and investigating the heavenly netherbird. Of course, these things could not be rushed. The most important thing at the moment was to deal with the counterattack of the Greedy Wolf Society and the Freshman Assembly. There was still half a month before the Freshman Assembly. If he could get first place, he would be rewarded with a generous amount of spirit value points. Therefore, Lin Xian would not miss this opportunity. As for dealing with the Greedy Wolf Society, firstly, there was a conflict between them that would be difficult to resolve. Secondly, according to his understanding, the leader of the Greedy Wolf Society was an expert on the Mystic Venerable list. Now that he had broken through to the Venerable Realm, his strength had improved even more. Ordinary second-level Venerables were no match for him. He felt that he had the possibility of breaking through to the Mystic Venerable list. And the leader of the Greedy Wolf Society had become his first target. He had a lot of things to do, and this was just the beginning. Tidy up and recuperate. The next day, Lin Xian asked the 3 Hao brothers to go to Lion Moon City to retrieve the pills. When the 500 bottles of pills were brought back, everyone was stunned. These were all pills that could raise one's cultivation. The members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion were excited. It was not that they had not seen grade 4 pills before, but it was the first time they had seen so many grade 4 pills. These 2 are for the Venerable Realm, and these 3 are for those below the Venerable Realm. Everyone gets 3 bottles. Distribute them first. Whoever increases their cultivation the fastest will get the remaining rewards. Lin Xian said, this is just the beginning. Soon you will realize that grade 5 and grade 6 pills are not a problem. Yes, thank you, Brother Xian. Everyone was excited. After receiving the pills, everyone left and hurriedly went to cultivate. Liang Wei, go to the mission hall and record down some of the large-scale missions. Wang Li, go and pay attention to the recent movements of the Greedy Wolf Society and collect information on their missions. Lin Xian instructed again. Yes. Brother Xian, are we going to make a move? Wang Li asked. There's no rush. Let's wait until everything is clear. Lin Xian said, don't they like to rob the weak? This time we'll let them have a taste of being robbed. Everything was going smoothly. As the leader of the Dragon Sword Pavilion, Lin Xian only needed to grasp the big picture. Chapter 748. Lin Xian released the dark red divine dragon and began to set up the array. Was there a combination array that could be moved and dismantled at any time? Lin Xian asked. You brat, you really have a lot of requests. The dark red divine dragon curled its lips. What, you can't do it? Who was the one who bragged about being #1 in array formation? Brat, don't provoke me. Who am I? What array formation don't I know? The dark red divine dragon said disdainfully, of course I have this kind of array formation, but it's very troublesome. I'm not afraid of trouble. I have time. Lin Xian said, as for the materials, just tell me. Next, the dark red divine dragon asked for a lot of things. Fortunately, Lin Xian killed a lot of supremacies, especially 2 Tian storage ring. It's very rich. Therefore he quickly gathered the things that the dark red divine dragon needed. Next, the dark red divine dragon began to inscribe the array while Lin Xian cultivated in silence. During this time Murong Qingqing came once. She stared at Lin Xian with a smile. I heard that you made a big splash again? No way, I just taught a few despicable fellows a lesson. How's your mission? Lin Xian asked. It's very smooth. I've obtained a lot of spiritual value points. Soon I'll be able to gather all the spiritual herbs. When the time comes you have to refine pills for me. Don't worry, no problem. Murong Qingqing left in satisfaction. She did not forget her agreement with Lin Xian, so she worked hard to cultivate and strive to enter the mysterious sovereign board. 2 days later, Wang Li and Liang Wei had investigated thoroughly. Brother Xian, there are quite a few large-scale missions. I've chosen a few from them and there are 3 that are below 3 stars. Brother Xian, I've heard about the Greedy Wolf Gang's recent actions. Are there any missions that the Greedy Wolf Gang is going to do soon? Lin Xian asked. They've recently occupied a place in the Blood Forest. It seems like they're plotting something. Wang Li said. There's such a thing? Lin Xian's interest was piqued. He decided to take a look. At this time, the dark red divine dragon had finished inscribing the array formation. It was a combination type array called the 12 Azure Cloud Arrays. It was formed by 12 individual small formations. It could be combined to form a super defensive formation, or it could be used as a defensive formation on its own. Lin Xian set up the 12 formations of green cloud around the courtyard. Together with the courtyards of the other disciples of Dragon Sword Pavilion, they formed a super defensive formation. Within this range they were extremely safe. Even a second heaven venerable would not be able to break through. This freshman area became their temporary stronghold. When they moved away in the future they could leave the clear sky array at any time, and it would be very convenient. How is it, kid? Am I powerful? Do you really worship me? The dark red dragon was pleased with itself. Not bad, you deserve a reward. Lin Xian laughed. I'll take you to have some fun. Have some fun. The dark red dragon was intrigued. Then the man and the dragon left the college and flew toward the Blood Forest. According to the directions given by Wang Li, Lin Xian searched carefully and soon found the members of the Greedy Wolf Gang. It was difficult not to discover them. This time the Greedy Wolf Gang had sent out more than 50 people, and they surrounded a part of the forest. Lin Xian landed and concealed himself. He hid in the distance with the dark red dragon and observed. There seems to be the aura of a demonic beast ahead. The dark red dragon suddenly frowned. It was very powerful. Demonic beast? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He sensed carefully and could capture some residual aura in the air. It was very powerful and carried a violent and fierce aura. It's so powerful. I'm afraid it's a powerful existence even among the demon generals. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. What kind of demonic beast is it? Can you tell? It's too far away and its aura is very weak. I don't know yet. Hearing this, Lin Xian nodded and began to investigate the situation. He found that there were many natural treasures in the valley ahead, which made people jealous. Could it be that the Greedy Wolf Gang is after those natural treasures? Lin Xian frowned and watched silently. In front of them, a group of people from the Greedy Wolf Gang spread out in a fan-shaped formation. Each of them had a powerful aura, and the weakest among them was a half-step venerable one. The 3 people at the front were the strongest. They were all at the second heaven of the exalted realm. The person in the middle was especially tall and sturdy. His skin was dark red and he gave off a bloodthirsty aura. Brother Hua, are we going to take action? A young warrior looked at the various rare spirit herbs in the valley, his face full of excitement. Send some brothers. Be careful. The tall and sturdy young man said. Next to him were 2 young men in black and white robes, each with a pitch-black gauntlet. They were the black and white generals of the Greedy Wolf Gang, and the burly young man in the middle was the vice president of the Greedy Wolf Gang, Hua Tianyi. Hua Tianyi waved his hand. Immediately, the black and white generals led the 10 cultivators and carefully rushed towards the valley. Whoosh, whoosh. Streaks of black shadows dashed out like lightning. They were extremely fast and arrived in the valley in an instant. Heaven crystal fruit. Fuck fu luo flower. The group of people looked around excitedly. Those spiritual herbs that were extremely rare in the outside world were actually everywhere at this moment. These people's faces were full of greed as they quickly pounced forward. At this moment, a strong wind suddenly blew in the valley. Snowflakes started floating in the sky, and the surrounding temperature dropped rapidly. In an instant, the entire valley turned into a world of ice and snow. The cold wind was biting cold. Even a first-rank honorable felt a bone-piercing chill and shivered. What's going on? It's so cold. Fuck, what the hell? Where did the ice and snow come from? These people's faces changed. They stopped and looked around carefully. Hurry up and attack. I don't want to stay here any longer. The black general shouted. He was a little nervous. He felt uneasy as if something was about to happen. Those cultivators moved again. However, as soon as they moved, a huge figure appeared in the sky full of snow. It was like an ice mountain moving slowly. The ground trembled and swayed continuously. The sky was filled with a terrifying pressure that made people despair. What is that? Not only were the people in the valley shocked, but even those outside the valley were stunned. They all looked ahead in horror. This is. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. The pressure also made him fearful. However, in the next moment he activated the great dragon sword soul and destroyed the terrifying pressure. At this moment, miserable cries could be heard from the valley. The figure that was like an ice mountain let out an angry roar. Then it spat out a stream of air. Like an ice river, it swept across heaven and earth and rushed toward the members of the greedy wolf gang. Oh no, retreat. The black and white generals were shocked. They turned into two streaks of light and escaped from the valley. The rest of the cultivators also wanted to escape, but they were one step too late. The terrifying ice river covered them. In the next moment, everything was frozen. 10 members of the greedy wolf gang turned into ice sculptures and stayed in the valley forever. Phew. The black and white generals escaped from the valley and heaved a sigh of relief. They had almost turned into ice sculptures. The others looked at everything in the valley in horror. Chapter 749. The icy river froze the 10 members of the ravenous wolf gang in an instant. Everyone was stunned by this scene. Lin Xian frowned. He circulated his soul power and looked carefully. In his valley there was a huge figure moving slowly. From time to time, it would let out a low roar that sounded like muffled thunder. Brother Hua, what's that? The members of the ravenous wolf gang trembled in fear. The pressure was too terrifying. They couldn't resist it at all. The black and white generals also returned. Their faces were pale. So many people went out, but only the 2 of them returned. If I'm not wrong, it should be a demonic beast on the earth list. Hua Qianni took a deep breath. He stared at the huge figure in the valley, his eyes filled with greed and fear. There were spiritual herbs everywhere in the valley. If they could get it, it would be a great harvest. Moreover, the demonic beast on the earth list was full of treasures. It was extremely rare. However, he also knew that the demonic beast on the earth list was terrifying. It wasn't something they could fight against. However, they could try to get the spiritual herbs in the valley. Let's go. They should go back and discuss countermeasures. Hua Qianni said in a deep voice, seal the news. Don't let anyone know. Then he took out a purple disc array and poured his spiritual energy into it. It formed an illusion array and covered the scene. If an ordinary person didn't look carefully, they wouldn't notice anything unusual. After doing this, he left with the group. After they left, Lin Xian walked out of the forest. He looked at the valley with flickering eyes. Are you sure it's the frost snow beast that's ranked 178 on the earth list? Yes, it should be it. The dark red dragon said, and this frost snow beast seems to be very weak. It's a good opportunity to make a move. You want to kill it? Lin Xian asked. You're thinking too much. The dark red dragon rolled his eyes. This is a demonic beast on the earth list. How can it be so easy to kill? With your strength, you won't be able to do anything to it. What do you mean? This frost snowman is very special. Wherever it is, there will be a snow lantern. Snow lantern? Lin Xian was confused. It's a strange spiritual fruit. It looks like a lantern, so it's called a snow lantern. If you obtain it, it will greatly increase your cultivation. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Let's go back and discuss this. This time, not only do we have to get the snow lantern, we also have to give the greedy wolf gang a big present. Lin Xian's figure flickered, turning into a sword ray and leaving. Academy, freshman area. Lin Xian called the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion over. After those people took the pills, their cultivation improved and some of them even broke through. All of this was given to them by Lin Xian, so they were very excited when Lin Xian called them over. Older brother Xian, is there a mission? That's right, boss, I can't wait any longer. Lin Xian smiled. There is indeed a mission, and it is related to the Greedy Wolf Gang. Greedy Wolf Society? It's those damn bastards again. Many people snorted when they heard about the Greedy Wolf Gang. This is a good opportunity for revenge, Lin Xian said. Then he told everyone about Frost Valley. When everyone heard that there were countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures in the valley, they all became excited. Older brother Xian, should we make a move first? Wang Li asked. Hearing this, the group of people looked at Lin Xian with burning gazes. No, that frost snow beast is too powerful. It's too dangerous to attack rashly. Why don't we let the Greedy Wolf Gang take the front and attack at the right time? Good idea. I've long disliked them. This time we must trick them to death. Everyone was looking forward to it. While Lin Xian was discussing, the Greedy Wolf Gang was also moving quickly. They gathered their men and prepared to attack. The president of the Greedy Wolf Gang was out on a mission, so this time the vice president Hua Qianyi led the team. Soon they set off once again. When Lin Xian received the news, he also left with his men. Murong Qingqing was also with him. This mission was special, so he needed a strong helper. Although Murong Qingqing was a woman, she was very powerful, so Lin Xian decided to bring her along. Moreover, after hearing about the snow lantern, Murong Qingqing was also moved. That thing was also important to her. The group of people did not immediately follow. Instead, they set off after the Greedy Wolf Gang had left. Lin Xian already knew the location of Frost Valley, so there was no need to rush. They were careful along the way and finally arrived at the periphery of Frost Valley. From afar, they could see that the valley was full of vegetation, birds, and flowers. There was no frost at all. While everyone was puzzled, the Greedy Wolf Gang in front of them suddenly tried to enter the valley. In the next moment, a low voice sounded. Then wind and snow fell from the sky, and the entire valley instantly became a world of ice and snow. Everyone was stunned. It was the first time they had seen such a magical thing. Is this Frost Valley? It's really magical. Murong Qingqing's beautiful eyes turned. Suddenly, she exclaimed and covered her mouth with her small hand. The reason for that was because an overlord had appeared in the ravine. Accompanying that overlord was a terrifying oppressive might. That pressure made people's hearts tremble. I've already prepared it. The dark red dragon jumped out and threw out a circular crystal plate with inscriptions on it. Wear this and the pressure will be reduced a lot. Everyone put it on and felt much more comfortable. Brother Dragon, you're too amazing. The students complimented. They had already accepted the existence of the dark red dragon. Moreover, the dragon's methods were too magical. The dark red dragon was satisfied. This is nothing. Follow my spirit and you'll get great benefits. The snow-white monkey rolled its eyes at the side with a look of disdain. All right, stop fooling around. Lin Xian glared at it, then said in a low voice, Focus. We'll move at any time. In front, the Greedy Wolf Gang had already moved. Hua Qianyi and two other experts ran toward the frost snow beast, while the others were led by the black and white generals. They quickly rushed toward the valley. They wanted to attract the frost snow beast's attention so that the others could snatch the treasure. Together with Hua Qianyi was a woman in green, and there was also a burly man with dark skin. The three of them ran toward the frost snow beast in an attempt to attract its attention. Whoosh! Hua Qianyi took the lead. A saber light tore through the sky and slashed toward the beast. There was a grayish-white flame on the saber light. It was like the ghost fire of the netherworld. Bang! Sizzle! Soon, the saber light landed on the frost snow beast's body. The terrifying saber light could tear through the sky, but it did not cause any damage to the beast's body. When the grayish-white flame touched the frost snow beast's blue ice armor, it emitted a sizzling sound and was quickly extinguished. Although the saber light did not cause any damage, it angered the frost snow beast. It turned around angrily and stared at Hua Qianyi and the others with its huge eyes. The blue light in its eyes danced, causing the temperature to drop again. It was as if the world had turned into an ice cave. Roar! Chapter 750. A blue icicle quickly rushed over, bringing with it a terrifying power of ice. Hua Qianyi and the other two's expressions changed. They didn't dare to take it head-on and could only dodge it. The three of them turned into streaks of lightning and dashed through the valley, narrowly avoiding the frost snow beast's attack. Then the three of them waved their hands and threw out 6 pitch-black iron chains that wrapped around the frost snow beast. Swoosh! The black iron chain was as agile as a snake. It quickly wrapped around the frost snow beast's body. "Hurry up!" Hua Tianyi shouted. Hearing this, the members of the greedy wolf gang moved quickly and ran toward the treasures. Lin Xian frowned when he saw this from afar. "Let's go," Lin Xian said in a low voice. "Let's sneak into the valley first. Be careful, don't attack first." "Yes." The group responded and quickly followed Lin Xian. They had the crystal inscriptions given to them by the dark red divine dragon that could resist the pressure of heaven and earth. Hence, it was much easier for them to move. The scene was very chaotic. Lin Xian and the rest moved quickly while the members of the greedy wolf gang were fighting for the treasures. Hence, no one noticed the situation at the entrance of the valley. Lin Xian and the rest quickly flew in. As soon as they entered the valley, the temperature dropped. The cold wind was bone-chilling and made them tremble. Looking at the treasures and spiritual herbs in the distance, everyone's eyes were burning with passion. However, they didn't act rashly. As they went deeper, the wind and snow became even colder, as if it was going to freeze everything in the world. Angry roars could be heard in the air, causing people's blood to churn. Terrifying waves of air exploded and swept across the land, causing people's hearts to tremble. These people's hearts trembled. The demonic beasts on the earth ranking were too terrifying. They weren't something they could fight against. Lin Xian was very calm. He had seen many big scenes. Moreover, this was far from the tyrannical dark red divine dragon when he first saw it. Back then, when the dark red divine dragon was born, its huge body was tens of millions of meters long and filled the entire sky. Its terrifying aura was vast and mighty, and even kings were no match for it. Compared to the dark red divine dragon, the frost snow beast in front of them was much weaker. However, it was not something that ordinary people could contend against. However, Lin Xian was extremely astonished by Hua Tianyi and the others. The 6 black chains in their hands were extremely strange. They were actually able to restrain the frost snow beasts for a short period of time. Could it be a chain made of millennium cold steel? The dark red divine dragon was also surprised. "Alright, now hide here and wait for the next move." Lin Xian waved his hand, his expression solemn. He had a bad feeling about this. Sure enough, in the next moment, the frost snow beast exploded. It roared angrily and a cold light blossomed from its body, spreading in all directions. Wherever the cold wind passed, everything would turn into ice. It was extremely terrifying. Those who went to snatch the heavenly treasures were even more unlucky. Icicles rose from the ground one after another. They were incomparably sharp and pierced towards everyone. If they were not careful, they would be injured. There was even one person who was directly pierced through. For a moment, all kinds of screams rang out. The people from the Dragon Sword Pavilion hid in the shadows and watched in fear. Fortunately, they did not act rashly just now. Otherwise, they would have ended up in a miserable state. "Brother Xian, what should we do now?" Wang Li asked. "Do you remember the formation that I gave you before? Later, you guys will form the formation and trap all the people from the greedy wolf gang. As for collecting the heavenly treasures, leave it to Little White." Hearing this, the snow-white little monkey hugged the small bowl, and its big eyes narrowed into crescents. "Morong and I will go to another place. You guys have to be careful later," Lin Xian said. Everyone nodded, indicating that they understood. After being bullied by the greedy wolf gang for so long, they could finally take revenge. In front of them, the frost snow beast roared angrily again. Hua Tianyi and the other two attacked again. The black chains in their hands rattled and emitted a cold light. Like an angry dragon, they entangled the frost snow beast again. "This frost snow beast is very weak. Let's attack with all our strength and trap it again," Hua Tianyi shouted. The green-clothed lady and the tan man nodded. The three of them attacked together, forming a terrifying energy. With the help of the 1,000-year cold iron chain, they fought against the frost snow beast. The frost snow beast was pinned down once more. Lin Xian saw that it was about time. He ordered the Dragon Sword Pavilion to prepare the array formation while he, Murong Qingqing, and the dark red divine dragon headed deeper in. Whoosh, whoosh. Dozens of silhouettes moved quickly, running along the edge, forming a large formation. Then, these people released their spiritual energy to activate the formation and surround the greedy wolf gang. What's going on? The members of the greedy wolf gang had originally obtained a very good opportunity to snatch the heaven and earth treasure, but they discovered that their surroundings had changed drastically. "This is an illusion array?" someone exclaimed. D***, we're surrounded. What should we do? Everyone looked at the black and white generals. Split into two teams. One team will continue to snatch the spiritual herbs while the other team will attack the formation. The black and white generals cried out in a low voice. After which, the two of them split up. However, something even stranger happened. The spiritual herbs and fruits in front of them disappeared without a trace. D***, who is it? D***, how dare you provoke the greedy wolf gang? You're dead meat. Everyone roared and looked around, but they could not find anyone. On the other side, the people attacking the formation also returned without success. They could not break it at all. D***, we've been tricked. The black and white generals' faces darkened. It had always been the greedy wolf gang who tricked others. No one had ever dared to do anything to them. Attack with all your might. We can't be trapped here. The two of them roared crazily. The situation was very dangerous now. If the frost snow beast went crazy and attacked them, they would be dead meat. The black general attacked while the white general collected the spiritual herbs. The two of them were second-level honorables and were very powerful. They were much stronger than the rest, so their attacks were very effective. In a short time, the white general managed to snatch 3 spiritual herbs. However, the 4th spiritual herb was snatched away by a white light. The white general snorted and attacked mercilessly. However, the other party was too fast and he could not hit him. The black general took out 2 terrifying black palms and held them up to the sky. The palms were pitch black and extremely terrifying. They were like demonic mountains as they blasted towards the sky. However, the people of the Dragon Sword Pavilion did not fight back. They all dodged to the side. All they needed to do was to trap these people. In the outside world, the little white monkey hugged the small bowl. The spiritual herbs around it kept increasing. The little thing narrowed its eyes and looked intoxicated. In a short time, everyone used the illusion formation to trap the people of the greedy wolf gang. What's going on? In the distance, Hua Tianyi and the other two also noticed the abnormality. D***, there are still people. Who are they? How did they get in? The 3 of them looked gloomy. Let's not care so much. Just kill them. Hua Tianyi's face was gloomy. Then he waved his hand and a huge palm appeared. There was a grayish-white flame on the palm. It was extremely demonic and quickly blasted downwards. Chapter 751. Hua Tianyi's terrifying palm attack enveloped the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion. Disperse. Wang Li shouted. Immediately, the group of people retreated. Boom. The terrifying palm attack missed, and the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion gathered again. Damn it, how dare you fight back? The 3 Hao brothers were furious. Brothers, beat him up. Immediately, the disciples of Dragon Sword Pavilion attacked the people of Ravenous Wolf Gang in the illusion array. In a situation where they had the absolute advantage, the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion fought very happily. On the other side, Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and the Dark Red Dragon quietly entered the depths of the valley. They did not alert anyone. Under the Dark Red Dragon's array, even the Frost Snow Beast was fooled. Haha, snow lanterns, I'm coming. The Dark Red Dragon was excited. The nest of the Frost Snow Beast was right in front of them. The 3 of them entered and searched quickly. Finally, they found the snow lanterns mentioned by the Dark Red Dragon. They were snow white and shaped like lanterns. They were the size of a fist. There were 5 of them and Lin Xian took all of them. However, he only took the fruits and did not touch the plants. With the snow lanterns in hand, Lin Xian gave 1 each to Murong Qingqing and the Dark Red Dragon. Then he put the remaining 3 into his storage ring. There's something inside? Suddenly he frowned and walked in. This is... In the next moment he was stunned. In the depths of the cave there were 3 azure blue eggs. They were the size of a millstone. Damn good stuff. If I eat it, I can recover my origin. The Dark Red Dragon exclaimed, saliva dripping down. As if feeling the threat of the Dark Red Dragon, the 3 eggs trembled slightly. In the next moment, an angry roar was heard. It was as if thunder had descended from the 9 heavens. It was extremely terrifying. Not good, the Frost Snow Beast found out. Let's go. Lin Xian's expression changed. He did not care about anything else. He pulled Murong Qingqing and ran. The Dark Red Dragon also cursed in a low voice. It looked at the 3 azure blue pills unwillingly and quickly left. These 3 eggs had already gained intelligence. He had no chance to steal them. If he tried to steal them by force, he would most likely be targeted by the frost snow beast. With his current strength, he was completely unable to defeat that ice beast. Damn it, you three little things are lucky. The dark red divine dragon transformed into a streak of red light and quickly escaped from the cave. On the other side, the frost snow beast sensed its child's cry for help. It was enraged. As if it had gone mad, its aura surged and it broke the 6,000-year cold iron chains. Bang! A powerful force of wind and snow gushed out, blowing Hua Tianyi and the other two away. Damn it, why did this guy suddenly go crazy? The green-clothed woman's face turned pale. Hua Tianyi's expression didn't look good either. They didn't manage to snatch many spiritual herbs, and the frost beast here went crazy again. They were really unlucky. Boom, boom. On the ground, huge icicles pierced out, densely packed. There were at least 1,000 icicles. It was a terrifying sight. In the sky, the river of ice flowed in reverse, and the cold air was oppressive, enveloping the surroundings. Brr. The frost snow beast roared angrily and spat out ice and frost, causing the entire valley to freeze. Not good, this beast has really gone crazy. Hua Tianyi and the other two's expressions changed drastically, and they turned to leave. However, in the next moment, the void fluctuated, and a terrifying sword chi slashed over. It flashed like a waterfall with a sharp aura, causing people's hearts to tremble. In an instant it struck Hua Tianyi. Hua Tianyi didn't expect a sneak attack at this time, so by the time he reacted, the sword chi had already slashed his body. He could only face it head-on. However, the sword chi was too powerful and sent him flying. Bang! Bang! Not only Hua Tianyi but the other two members of the Greedy Wolf gang were also attacked and sent flying. Moreover, that direction happened to be where the frost snow beast was. Damn it, who is it? Hua Tianyi went crazy. He used all his strength to stop his body and dodged the frost snow beast's attack with difficulty. He looked around angrily, but he only saw 3 afterimages disappearing in the sky. The ones who launched the sneak attack were Lin Xian and the others. They didn't stop and directly met up with the people from the Dragon Sword Pavilion. Brother Xian. Wang Li and the others saw Lin Xian and cheered in surprise. Let's go, leave the valley. Lin Xian said. Yes. No one delayed and they all moved quickly. They had all heard the terrifying sound just now. If it wasn't for the fact that Lin Xian hadn't returned yet, they would have left long ago. At this moment, Lin Xian had returned and almost all the spirit herbs had been picked. Moreover, they had beaten up the people from the Greedy Wolf gang and had no reason to stay. Let's go. More than 30 people soared into the sky, turned into rays of light and left the valley. Not long after Lin Xian left, Hua Tianyi and the other two arrived. Brother Hua. The people from the Greedy Wolf gang wailed. They were all covered in wounds and looked very miserable. What was even more unfortunate was that they didn't manage to snatch many spirit herbs. This time it could be said that they had lost. Brother Hua, it's that kid Lin Xian. Yes, it's the people from the Dragon Sword Pavilion. We've been tricked. The faces of the people from the Greedy Wolf gang turned green. Let's leave this place first. Hua Tianyi's eyes were gloomy. His heart was filled with killing intent, but he had to leave first. Behind them, the frost snow beast ran over. Balls of ice fell and filled the entire sky. Let's go. The people from the Greedy Wolf gang were terrified and ran for their lives. Like stray dogs, they screamed and ran away from the valley. Lin Xian and the others came out of the valley and ran all the way back to the academy. Then they gathered together and activated the 12 formations of Azure Cloud to form a solid defense. Then they began to distribute the spirit herbs. First there were the snow lanterns. They were given to Murong Qingqing and the dark red divine dragon. Lin Xian still had 3 left. He kept one for himself and gave one to the snow-white little monkey. He planned to make the remaining one into spirit wine and distribute it to the people from the Dragon Sword Pavilion. As for the spirit herbs, the snow-white little monkey had snatched more than 50 stalks, which was enough for everyone. This was a great harvest. Wang Li and the others were in a good mood. Hee, not only did we get the spirit herbs and spirit wine, but more importantly, we taught the Greedy Wolf gang a lesson. Those guys are probably miserable now. How can they not be miserable? If it were me, I would definitely be sullen. But the more miserable they are, the happier I am. Everyone laughed. At this moment, angry voices suddenly came from the sky. Lin Xian, get out here. Dragon Sword Pavilion, come out and die. The voice was like thunder, shaking the surroundings and attracting the attention of the other students. Hua Tianyi led more than 30 people and stood in the sky. His body was surging with killing intent as if he wanted to eat people. Not only that, these people were all injured and looked to be in a sorry state. What's going on? Aren't these people from the Greedy Wolf gang? Why are they here again? I heard that they're here to find Lin Xian. Could it be that they're here for revenge? That shouldn't be the case. Even if they're taking revenge, they can't be in such a sorry state. Could it be that it's not because of last time but because something happened? Everyone guessed and were shocked. Below, Lin Xian and the others heard the voice of the Greedy Wolf gang and immediately sneered. These bastards came quite quickly. Brother Xian, what should we do? Everyone asked. Chapter 752. Lin Xian led the Dragon Sword Pavilion out, quickly attracting the attention of the crowd. It can't be he still dares to come out? Isn't he courting death? Yeah, the Greedy Wolf gang sent over 30 people this time. I'm afraid no one can contend against them, right? Everyone shook their heads. In the sky, Hua Tianyi and the rest were filled with killing intent when they saw Lin Xian coming out. Brat, no one can save you if you dare to target the Greedy Wolf gang. Do you believe that today will be the day you die? Hua Tianyi's gaze was cold as well. He said in a stern voice, hand over those things, then kneel down and apologize. Perhaps this matter can be resolved. Otherwise, you can just wait to be tortured. I dare to guarantee that from today onwards, there will be no place for you in the Immortal Martial Academy. Who is this? So arrogant? How to sneered. I don't know, looks like a beggar. Lying through your teeth. Is that a beggar? Beggars are much cleaner than them. I think it's more like a stray dog. Ha 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 ha. The Dragon Sword Pavilion disciples roared with laughter. Lin Xian was also smiling as he looked at the sky. Apologize. What a joke. He didn't think that the other party would be so kind as to solve the problem with an apology. Moreover, only one of them could exist between him and the Greedy Wolf gang. Hearing the words of the Dragon Sword Pavilion, the surrounding students were shocked. This was a naked provocation. No, this was a slap in the face in front of everyone. How could the Greedy Wolf gang tolerate this? As expected, before the laughter of the Dragon Sword Pavilion faded, the Greedy Wolf gang was already enraged. Courting death. The Greedy Wolf gang was enraged. They waved their palms and slapped downwards. Boom. The huge palm of light was blocked in midair and collided with a light screen, causing a rumbling sound. Then the palm of light was reflected back. It was blocked? The Greedy Wolf gang was stunned. Then their faces turned even gloomier. Boom. 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 Another person attacked. Terrifying beams of light descended, rushing towards Lin Xian and the rest. However, no one was able to pass through the light screen. All of them were blocked. What? How is this possible? What kind of formation is this? Why is it so powerful? Everyone was dumbstruck. That was the attack of more than 10 experts, yet it actually didn't break through. This defense was too terrifying. What do a bunch of country bumpkins know? Below, the dark red divine dragon was disdainful. The 12 formations of Azure Cloud was a famous ancient formation. Moreover, it was personally set up by it, so its power was extremely strong. This was something that Lin Xian had specifically requested. It was impossible for these people to break it. Damn it. What kind of formation is this? Why is it so evil? The Greedy Wolf gang members' expressions turned ugly when they saw that the light screen was still intact. Brat, come out if you dare. The members of the Greedy Wolf gang shouted angrily. Trash. Come in if you have the ability. This young master will crush you to death with one hand. The people from Dragon Sword Pavilion sneered. They would not lose in a war of words. What Dragon Sword Pavilion? So it's just a bunch of useless cowards who don't even dare to step out of their doors. How are the Greedy Wolves doing? Isn't it just that they came to the academy a few years earlier? They can't beat the established factions and can only bully the freshmen. If I were you, I would have killed myself long ago. That's right. What kind of ability is bullying the freshmen? If you have the ability, wait for this young master to cultivate for a few years and destroy you in minutes. Wang Li and the others sneered. Lin Xian, this is your Dragon Sword Pavilion? You don't even have the courage to fight, so what kind of club are you forming? Hua Tianyi said coldly. I think you're mistaken. Lin Xian laughed. We're not hiding. Instead, we're standing here openly. It's your own fault for not being able to enter. How can you blame others? Senior, I only want to ask one thing. Have you wasted so many years of cultivation on dogs? Hearing Lin Xian's arrogant and domineering words, the surrounding students could not help but laugh. This guy really knew how to insult others. You're courting death. Hua Tiany's pupils shrank as he quickly threw out a punch. Bang! An earth-shattering sound rang out as ripples appeared on the defensive light screen. However, it gradually calmed down and did not shatter. It's blocked. Seeing that his attack was ineffective, Hua Tiany's face turned ugly. No one dared to underestimate him. Anyone who dared to underestimate him had already been trampled under his feet. Now, Lin Xian had actually slapped his face in front of everyone. This was something he could not tolerate. If it was any other time, he would have already trampled Lin Xian under his feet. However, that damned formation had stopped everything, so he could only watch helplessly. Young Master Hua, we're here to help you. The green-clothed girl and the dark-skinned man also walked forward and stood side by side with Hua Tiany. The three experts attacked together. Immediately, the surrounding people exclaimed. They all thought that Lin Xian was dead for sure this time. Even the people from the Dragon Sword Pavilion were worried. However, Lin Xian was still smiling as he looked at the sky. He was not nervous at all. This was a formation set up by the dark red divine dragon. Others might not know how powerful it was, but he knew. Not to mention Hua Tiany and the other two, even a third sky supremacy might not be able to break it. Therefore he was not nervous at all. Laughing? I'll make you lie at my feet like a dog in a while. Hua Tiany's eyes were filled with killing intent. With a low shout, the three of them attacked together. Their terrifying attacks shook the surroundings, shocking everyone. However, the defensive light barrier still did not break. How is this possible? Hua Tiany was shocked. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The three of them were second sky supremacies. When the three of them joined forces, their power was absolutely terrifying. However, they could not break the defensive light barrier. What kind of formation was this? Not only Hua Tiany but everyone was also very confused. In particular, the other freshmen were very envious. This was the safest defense base. Looks like your strength is not as good as your mouth. Lin Xian shrugged. Take your time. I'm going to cultivate. After saying that, he turned around and left. The people from the Dragon Sword Pavilion also looked at the sky mockingly. Then they all raised their middle fingers. You want to break the formation? In your next life. Go back. The group of people mocked and left as well. Damn it, damn it. Hua Tiany was so angry that he went crazy. He had a lot of skills but he could not use them. I don't believe that you will hide in there for the rest of your lives. All of you listen up. Send people to take turns to monitor them. As long as they dare to come out, immediately report to me. Hua Tiany said with hatred. Then he waved his sleeve and quickly left. The other members of the Greedy Wolf gang also left. They really did not have the face to stay here. Only 2 disciples were left to monitor the movements of Lin Xian and the others. Brother Xian, we are being monitored. It seems that the other party is not willing to let this go. Wang Li was a little worried. Monitoring? Then let them monitor us. Lin Xian sneered. Then what should we do? Cultivate, all of you go back and cultivate. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. From now on, you are not allowed to go anywhere. Stay here and cultivate until the freshman assembly begins. Freshman assembly? Everyone's eyes lit up and then they all laughed. Chapter 753. In the following days, Lin Xian and the rest didn't go out. Instead, they focused on cultivating and preparing for the freshman competition. A single snow lantern allowed Lin Xian's cultivation to improve and consolidate. Now, the blood and qi in his body were like an ocean, surging and roaring with endless power. Other than that, he mainly comprehended the 4-season sword technique and concocted some pills in his spare time. Soon, over 10 days had passed and the freshman competition was getting closer. Lin Xian gathered everyone and said in a deep voice, "Tomorrow is the freshman competition. I don't expect you to get first place, but I want you to do your best to get a satisfactory ranking. Now, not only are you representing yourselves, you are also representing the Dragon Sword Pavilion. This time, let's show them the glory of our Dragon Sword Pavilion." Yes. The members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion shouted with excitement. All right, go back and relax and prepare for tomorrow's competition. On the second day, when the sun had just risen, the entire Immortal Martial Academy was in an uproar. Countless freshmen were excited and rubbed their fists, wanting to show off their abilities. They had gone through countless difficulties and finally entered the Immortal Martial Academy, winning the envy of the outside world. However, after entering the Immortal Martial Academy, everything had to start from scratch. They were the lowest level of freshmen and needed a competition to prove themselves. And the freshman competition was undoubtedly the best stage. Every year's freshman competition would receive special attention because these fresh blood could soar into the sky in the future. They wanted to use this competition to distinguish who was the real dragon. Lin Xian pushed open the door and walked out of the courtyard. He happened to see Murong Qingqing. The two of them smiled and gathered together. Soon after, the members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion also gathered together. This time, they were dressed in black with a dragon-shaped sword embroidered on their sleeves. Each of them was in high spirits and looked extraordinary. Not only them, but all the students in the first freshman area were excited and couldn't wait to start the competition. Alright, we can temporarily remove the defensive formation. At this time, the ravenous wolf gang won't dare to find trouble, Lin Xian said with a smile. Whoosh. Soon a cloud flew over from afar. It was like purple chi coming from the east, carrying a trace of mystery and dominance. Oh. In an instant, the purple mist appeared above the freshman area. The mist rolled and condensed into a human figure. It was the middle-aged instructor from before, the square-faced middle-aged man, Instructor Gua. Little guys, are you ready? If you're ready, follow me. After saying that, he turned around and flew into the distance. Whoosh, whoosh. Countless new students followed behind the middle-aged man. Go! Lin Xian took a deep breath and waved his hand. Then he led the Dragon Sword Pavilion's people into the air as well. Their bodies were like divine rainbows flying through the air like a meteor shower. It was very beautiful. Under the lead of the middle-aged man, they flew towards the northern region of the Immortal Martial Academy. At the same time, countless figures rose up from the other freshman areas, transforming into streams of light and flying away. The scene was spectacular and shocking. All the way to the north, everyone's speed was very fast, but they still flew for half an incense stick's worth of time before gradually slowing down. In front of them, there were mountains and a vast forest that stretched as far as the eye could see. Not far away there was a 10,000 feet tall mountain with steep cliffs, giving off a sharp feeling. However, the peak of the mountain was flat, as if it had been cut off by a sword, and a super large platform had appeared. Everyone's foothold was the vast platform. Not long after Lin Xian and the rest landed, there was another fluctuation in the sky. Two rays of light flew over at lightning speed. At first, they were the furthest away, but in the blink of an eye, they were above everyone's heads. Along with them, there was a surging spiritual chi as well as a pressure that was unintentionally released. Every trace of spiritual chi was shocking. Lin Xian raised his head and saw the two people in the sky. The person on the left was an old man with a sage-like demeanor, while the person on the right was a young lady in her 20s. However, her eyes revealed a sense of vicissitudes. The combination of a young appearance and the vicissitudes of life in her eyes could be said to be very strange. However, Lin Xian knew that she should be an expert with a technique to retain her youthful appearance. Although she looked young, her actual age was unknown. She had lived for a few hundred years. The young lady elder swept her gaze below and the corners of her lips curled up. There are a few good seedlings this time. Looks like there will be a big change in the Mystic Honorable Leaderboard soon. Then, she lowered her head again and said slowly, the two of us will be hosting the competition this time. You can call me Elder Hua and this is Elder Yang. Greetings, elders. The freshmen below shouted in unison. That's enough. The young lady elder gestured with her hands, and the freshmen below immediately quietened down. Next, I'll talk about the freshman competition. Do you see the mountain peak opposite? There's a golden bell on the mountain peak. Whoever rings it first will be the champion. Mountain Peak Golden Bell? The crowd was stunned. This was a little different from what they had imagined. They had originally thought that it would be a single elimination tournament. They had not expected it to be such a competition. However, it seemed that this competition would not be too difficult. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked at the giant mountain in front of him. To be honest, the mountain peak was not close to where they were. However, they could see it clearly because it was too big. The Black Mountain Peak was 10,000 feet tall and pierced through the clouds. It was like a peerless divine sword that pierced through the heavens and the earth. Not only that, the mountain also emitted a different kind of aura. It was like a dormant ancient beast, bringing with it a sense of oppression. Looking at everyone's expression, the young lady Elder Hua chuckled. Let's talk about the rewards. First place, 1 million spiritual value points. Second place, 500 spiritual value points. Third place, 200 spiritual value points. The rest will be calculated in this way. Not only that, the top 3 will also have a chance to enter the Hall of Divinity. That is something left behind by a king. If you're lucky, you might be able to obtain the inheritance. Hall of Divinity? King's inheritance. Hearing this, the crowd below was shocked. Then they were incomparably ecstatic. Many people's eyes turned red like rabbits. This news was too shocking. One must know that a king was the pinnacle existence on this continent. They were the true rulers. The number of kings on this continent could be counted with one hand. And now they actually had the chance to comprehend the king's statue and obtain the inheritance. This was too rare. Countless people would probably go crazy. As expected of the immortal martial academy. They even have a king's statue. Lin Xian was also incomparably shocked. At the same time, he was even more determined in his heart. He must obtain first place this time. However, he quickly frowned. Such a generous reward, but the competition was so simple. It seemed impossible. He looked at the dense forest below. His eyes flickered as he became vigilant. Chapter 754. Demonic Beasts? Everyone was stunned, but they didn't take it to heart. They were geniuses that did missions all day long. Why would they care about mere demonic beasts? Most likely, his greatest enemy would still be these fellow disciples beside him. Lin Xian frowned again. If there was no reason, Elder Hua wouldn't have said it. Could there be some special demonic beast here? His eyes flickered and he decided to pay attention to it. The freshman competition begins now, Elder Hua announced. After that, countless freshmen became excited. They quickly turned into streams of light and flew towards the mountain range. This scene was very spectacular. Perhaps only the Immortal Martial Academy could see it. Looking at the departing backs of the freshmen, the sage-like old man stroked his beard and said, "Seems like not many of them paid attention to your warning. So what? I've already reminded them. If they don't take it to heart, then they can't blame me." Elder Hua curled his lips. "But I'm looking forward to seeing these freshmen in a sorry state." The other instructors smiled bitterly. If you don't explain it clearly, how would the freshmen know? Of course, they only thought about it in their hearts. They wouldn't say it out loud. Countless freshmen rushed towards the forest as fast as lightning, causing a huge commotion. Brr, brr, brr. Following the invasion of the freshmen, angry roars came from the forest. The demonic beasts that lived in the forest were furious. They were very dissatisfied with these invaders. Many people snorted and attacked mercilessly. Terrifying and gorgeous energy surged out, sending the nearby demonic beasts flying. They were like fierce dragons crossing the river, extremely powerful. However, this angered the demonic beasts in the forest even more. Groups of demonic beasts formed into groups and pounced towards the freshmen. In an instant, a great battle broke out. Blade light and sword shadows, vast spiritual energy surged and surged. On the opposite side, the demonic beasts were enraged. Their roars shook the sky as they pounced madly. It was as if two torrents had collided with each other. Shocking energy fluctuations surged out in all directions like tide water. The entire forest became restless. The situation was very chaotic. Not only did the freshmen have to fight with the demonic beasts, they also had to be wary of the students around them. After all, everyone was an opponent. At this time, the role of a society was displayed. Lin Xian led the Dragon Sword Pavilion and charged quickly. Like a sharp knife, he pierced into the demonic beast army. Wherever he passed, no one could stop him. These people were originally experts and they were all from the same organization. When they worked together, the power they produced was very strong. Lin Xian did not even draw his sword. Instead, he clasped his fingers together and a stream of sword chi flew out from between his fingers, slashing forward. With a slash of his sword, dozens of demonic beasts in front of him were sliced in half. Their corpses fell to the ground and were trampled into meat paste by the demonic beasts behind. Murong Qingqing's white robes fluttered in the wind like a fairy descending from the heavens. Every time she struck out, the wind from her palms would be so fierce that it created a vacuum in front of her. With the two of them taking the lead, the other party's speed increased greatly. The demonic beasts on both sides were cleaned up by the other members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion. They had consumed quite a number of medicinal pills. In addition, they had been cultivating diligently during this period of time. Their strength had greatly increased compared to when they had entered the academy. These demonic beasts were nothing to worry about. Seeing that Lin Xian's Dragon Sword Pavilion had taken the lead, the scattered students also began to gather together to fight against the demonic beasts. Among them, there were a few groups that were very powerful. They did not seem to be weaker than Lin Xian. Lin Xian spread out his soul force and discovered that those groups were led by some experts. It seemed that he was not the only one who had formed a club. The others were also prepared. Follow closely, I'm going to speed up, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Then, the spirit energy in his body surged and his speed increased once again. The sword light at his fingertips became even sharper. Spring rain silk. Countless sword chi surged like spring rain, penetrating all openings and shooting forward quickly, piercing through the demonic beasts in front of them. The other groups were not to be outdone. They quickly charged forward, trying to shake off the others. For a moment, a tense atmosphere filled the forest. Not long after, they arrived at the depths of the forest. The demonic beasts here were even more powerful. There were even demonic generals. Those were demonic beasts comparable to martial supremacies. Moreover, they had gained intelligence and could control demonic beasts. They brought great trouble to the new students. Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and the others were powerful and were not affected much. However, the members of the Dragon Sword Pavilion behind them could not keep up. After all, they were only ordinary geniuses. The stronger ones had only reached the first level of martial supremacy. Compared to Lin Xian, there was still a huge gap. Brother Xian, don't worry about us. You guys go first. You must get first place. Dragon Sword Pavilion mighty? Those people looked at Lin Xian with excited expressions. Alright, be careful, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Then he turned around and his eyes bloomed. The aura on his body became even sharper, as if a peerless divine sword was quickly awakening. Boom! With a stomp of his foot, he was like a divine sword that had been unsheathed. He rushed forward quickly, and wherever he passed, the void trembled. Any demonic beast that was touched by the sword light instantly turned into a bloody mist. Not a single one was spared. It was too spiritual. Nothing could stop it. There was even a demonic general who tried to stop it, but it was pierced through the chest. Wherever Lin Xian passed, a vacuum appeared. Beside him, Murong Qingqing had a smile on her face. She was like a fairy as she accompanied him. They were not the only ones. The other teams also adopted the same method. Those powerful warriors left the team and began to travel alone. Lin Xian saw several powerful figures rushing out towards the huge mountain. He no longer held back and set off with Murong Qingqing. The two of them were like heaven-shaking rainbows. After killing their way out, they finally rushed out of the horde of demonic beasts and arrived at the foot of the huge mountain. From afar, they only felt that the black mountain was so tall that they couldn't see the top. Now that they were at the foot of the mountain, they were even more shocked by the aura. That sentence was like a primordial beast, causing him to tremble. Compared to him, those new students were even inferior to ants. However, these insignificant new students wanted to conquer this mountain. Go! Lin Xian took the lead and rushed in. Brr. A purple python with a pair of wings on its back pounced on Lin Xian when it saw him soar into the air. A black shadow flashed and pounced on Lin Xian. Scram! Lin Xian roared and punched out with his right fist. On his golden fist, electric arcs flashed and intertwined to form a dragon head, blasting the purple python apart. A bloody mist sprayed out as the huge corpse fell, smashing a deep hole in the ground. Those who rushed over from behind trembled when they saw this scene. It was too strong. It was practically a humanoid beast. However, right after the giant python fell to the ground and died, several cold glints suddenly lit up and quickly pierced towards Lin Xian. Speed, timing, everything was controlled well. It was obvious that they were experts. Lin Xian frowned. He did not expect that someone would dare to assassinate him. Spirit energy surged on his body and turned into countless sword shadows that swept in all directions. Ding! Ding! Chapter 755. Several figures retreated from the void and landed on the mountain path. At the same time, more than 10 martial artists surrounded Lin Xian. These people had cold expressions and powerful auras. They were all in the honorable realm. There was a red sun on their chests that seemed to be rising. They are Zhou Su's men. They are from the Rising Sun Hall. Murong Qingqing said from the side. Zhou Su. Lin Xian frowned slightly. He remembered that there was a fierce young man who had confronted him in the True Spirit Hall. He had almost forgotten about it. He did not expect the other party to make a move at this time. Kid, if you know what's good for you, stay where you are. The 10 figures around him snorted and stepped out at the same time. Their auras erupted and swept out in all directions like waves. These people were all in the honorable realm. This was too terrifying. Even a level 2 honorable realm would not be able to withstand the joint forces of 10 level 1 honorables. And now these people had joined forces to stop Lin Xian. The freshmen who had rushed over were also shocked. They did not stay and left quickly. They did not want to be implicated and did not want to stand out. Hence they left very quickly. Kid, the first place of the freshman competition belongs to our brother Su. Don't even think about it. One of the young martial artists snorted. Brother Su. Lin Xian sneered. If he was so confident, he wouldn't have stopped me. Brother Su doesn't take you seriously. He just wants to teach you a lesson this time. Attack. The young man shouted coldly. Then the surrounding figures rushed out quickly. Lin Xian said to Murong Qingqing who was beside him. Then their auras erupted and blasted out in all directions. Murong Qingqing waved her hands and enveloped the 5 people nearby. Lin Xian also pulled out the Wind Shadow Sword and a terrifying sword radiance swept out in all directions. A great battle broke out. Terrifying spiritual energy surged and formed a special place thousands of miles away. The freshmen and demonic beasts did not dare to come close. The sword radiance was like the wind and the swift spiritual energy arrived in front of a martial artist in an instant. Condense. The martial artist condensed armor and punched out with both fists. Crack crack. However, he had underestimated Lin Xian's sword light. In an instant, it had cut through his defense and left a sword mark on his body. If he hadn't shown mercy, this sword strike would have been enough to take his life. Lin Xian had already entered the honorable realm and become a true honorable realm. His strength had already reached the 2nd level of the honorable realm. Therefore he did not feel any pressure when facing these first-rank venerables. As the 4 swords pierced out, the 4 first-level venerables were injured and retreated. Their eyes were filled with fear, and they did not dare to continue fighting. Only the young man who spoke earlier was left in the field. The young man's name was Yin Feng. He was very powerful and had already reached the peak of the 1st level of Venerable Realm. This time he had received Zhou Su's orders to stop Lin Xian. He had a life-saving 1st-level Venerable in his hands, so he did not put Lin Xian in his eyes at all. In his opinion, no matter how powerful the other party was, it was impossible for him to be a match for them. But now, in just an instant, the 4 warriors had already fallen, leaving only him. Brat, I will let you know how powerful I am. Yin Feng roared and waved his fists. He immediately used his martial soul. 2 balls of light condensed on his fists. 1 ball of green light formed a terrifying storm, while the other ball of brown light was like a rock on the earth. Yin Feng had actually comprehended 2 attributes. Taste my double kill fist. Terrifying spiritual energy surged. The 2 attributes carried a terrifying attack and began to surge towards Lin Xian. Double attribute? Lin Xian smiled disdainfully. If the other party was someone else it might be effective. But against him there was no chance at all. In his hands he had more than just 2 attributes. Therefore, facing Yin Feng's attack, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. In the next moment he waved the Wind Shadow Sword and a fiery red sword chi surged out. Flames shot out in all directions and a heatwave surged into the sky. Above the flames, there were golden arcs of lightning circling around. The lightning and fire intersected and it was terrifying. What, the lightning and fire attributes? Yin Feng's pupils shrank. He did not expect Lin Xian to also have 2 attributes. What was laughable was that he did not know that the lightning and fire attributes were only 2 of Lin Xian's many attributes. If he were to reveal the truth he would probably faint from fright. The lightning and fire sword chi surged and slashed Yin Feng's attack away. Then it quickly slammed into his body. Yin Feng spat out blood and fell to the ground. His eyes were filled with fear. He did not expect that he would be defeated in one move. At the same time, Murong Qingqing also stopped attacking. Under her feet, 5 first-rank supremacies were wailing in pain. 10 first-rank supremacies were defeated in an instant. The eyelids of the passing freshmen twitched when they saw this scene. Zhou Su, right? Since you provoked me, don't blame me for being impolite. Lin Xian's voice was cold. He ignored the 10 fellows on the ground and looked at the mountain peak in the distance. Whoosh! Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing left once again. Just as Lin Xian was charging towards the mountain peak, there were also a few powerful figures in other directions. They led the crowd and rushed towards the mountain peak. One of them was tall and straight. His aura was sharp like a sword that could kill. What, Lin Xian? He's just a clown. The first place of the freshman is mine. Zhou Su's eyes shone brightly. He had unlimited confidence. Whoosh! In the distance, a shocking blade light lit up and slashed a demonic beast in half. Xiao Li's expression was cold as he rushed towards the mountain peak. Lin Xian, I look forward to fighting with you. On the other side, Dongfang Feng Huang, Lan Bai Xin Yao Tian, and the others were charging with all their might. The mountain peak was very tall and dangerous. After climbing the mountain path, Lin Xian realized that he could not fly because it was too dangerous. Therefore he and Murong Qingqing chose to go on the ground. In the forest, a pair of sharp claws appeared and grabbed at the two of them. The sword light flashed and destroyed the claws. At this time, dozens of dark green vines quietly approached Lin Xian and Shaoli like poisonous snakes, waiting for the right time. Whoosh! Suddenly these vines burst out and quickly wrapped around Lin Xian. The branches had poisonous thorns that could easily kill a venerable martial artist. In an instant, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing were entangled and quickly pulled to the back. Gulp! Two huge brown petals suddenly opened like two terrifying mouths with sharp teeth on them. They bit at the two of them. Humph! Lin Xian snorted. The armor on his body flickered and shattered the vines. At the same time he threw a punch. Terrifying flames intertwined and formed a fire beast that burned the man-eating demonic flower. On the other side, a crystal lotus appeared on Murong Qingqing's body. It was very dreamy and cut the other party in an instant. Then, the 9-petaled lotus danced in the air and formed a terrifying rotating force that shredded all the plants within 100 meters. What a terrifying woman! Lin Xian wiped his sweat and quickly walked up. We're almost halfway there. Most of the demonic beasts here are at the demon general level, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. I wonder what terrifying things there are above. Chapter 756. Murong Qingqing was a little worried about Elder Hua's warning. Lin Xian nodded as well. Let's be careful. There might be some powerful beasts up there. The two of them raised their guard and headed up the mountain. Their journey was smooth. Are we worrying too much? Lin Xian shook his head and smiled. Maybe. Murong Qingqing frowned. However, in the next moment, a shocking roar came from afar. It turned into rolling thunder and shook the surroundings. Ripples that could be seen with the naked eye spread out in all directions. Wherever they passed, rocks and trees were broken. This is... Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing were shocked as they looked up in disbelief. They were just starting to doubt Elder Hua's warning when something happened. Save me. Countless screams could be heard as many martial artists escaped from above. Their faces were filled with shock. Boom, boom, boom. The ground trembled as rows of trees fell. A huge black shadow walked in the forest with a terrifying aura. Below, countless martial artists were running for their lives. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing also retreated to a safe place and looked up. In the forest above, a 100-meter-tall giant ape walked upright. Its body was covered in fur and there was a vertical eye in the middle of its head. It had 8 arms on both sides of its body and they were constantly waving. Every time they waved there was a shocking aura. Boom. The 8 arms waved and slapped the martial artists in front of it away. It even created a vacuum in the forest. This is... Lin Xian was shocked. 8-armed demon ape. It was ranked 197th on the Earth board. Murong Qingqing said in a deep voice. No wonder Elder Hua warned us. There is a hidden Earth board demonic beast here. Lin Xian's face darkened. An adult 8-armed demon ape was extremely powerful. It was probably at least a 5th-layer martial honor. Fortunately, the 8-armed demon ape in front of them did not have a member. It was only in its infancy and its strength was equivalent to a 3rd-layer martial honor. Although it could not fight back, it could still escape. Boom. The 8-armed demon ape waved its arms and they were like 8 heavenly pillars that shot out in all directions. One of the palms just so happened to be aimed at Lin Xian and Wuxia. Everything near the palm shattered, and a powerful aura enveloped Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing, as if it wanted to crush them. As expected of a demonic beast ranked on the Earth ranking. It's already so strong in its infancy. Lin Xian felt the pressure. Lin Xian's expression changed slightly. He tapped his foot and retreated. Before the palm arrived, the terrifying palm wind had already destroyed everything in the vicinity. Murong Qingqing also retreated. As soon as the two of them left, the Vajra palm fell, cracking the ground, and a bottomless black hole appeared in the center. The strength of the 8-armed demonic ape shocked everyone. Those freshmen who wanted to go over were all blasted down. Many people looked forward with ugly expressions. The road up the mountain had been blocked so they could only break through. However, when faced with this terrifying 8-armed demon ape, no one had any information. Let's go to the sky. Many people looked at the sky and had a new idea. Suddenly, someone gave it a try. His body flashed and he turned into a shocking rainbow rushing into the sky. The 8-armed demon ape was only 100 meters tall. They just had to cross this line of defense. Many people had the same idea, but in the next moment their expressions changed again. This was because a huge black shadow had appeared in the sky. It was like a dark cloud covering the sky. Within the dark cloud, there was a pair of scarlet rays of light, like two suns hanging in the sky. Accompanying it was a terrifying aura. The aura was even stronger than the 8-armed demon apes. This is a demonic beast. Everyone was shocked, and the martial artists in the sky ran for their lives. Boom. A gray aura gushed out and filled the sky, surrounding the few people in the sky. One of them threw out a middle-grade spiritual rank shield, and it turned into a defensive barrier of more than 10 meters in the sky. However, in an instant, it was corroded by the gray mist. Chi-chi. A black hole appeared in the middle of the shield, and it gradually expanded. In the end, the entire shield turned into a pool of molten iron. What? How could this be? Countless people were shocked. The gray mist was too terrifying. Even a middle-grade spiritual rank artifact could not withstand it. At this moment, no one dared to think about escaping in the sky. Roar. The few people in the sky ran away, but the 8-armed demon ape on the mountain road roared angrily. It waved its 8 arms and roared towards the sky. Brr. In the sky, the demonic beast in the shape of a black cloud roared as well. It let out a low roar and its aura was boiling. The confrontation between the two powerful demonic beasts made the atmosphere tense to the extreme. Many of the freshmen's hearts were in their mouths as they watched nervously. It was not impossible to let the two demonic beasts fight. This way they would have a chance to escape. Lin Xian thought in his heart. In the next moment he had an idea. After reminding Murong Qingqing in a low voice, Lin Xian activated the Great Dragon Sword Soul. He controlled the spiritual qi between heaven and earth and condensed an arm near the 8-armed demon ape. Its appearance was almost the same as the 8-armed demon ape's arm. At the same time he used the concept of wind, causing a violent wind to blow in the sky, and the vision became dark. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lin Xian used the arm condensed from spiritual qi to grab a small mountain and threw it into the sky. Boom. Like a meteorite it flew up into the sky. Brr. In the sky, the demonic beast in the shape of a black cloud was enraged. It spat out even more gray mist, which enveloped the 8-armed demon ape below. When the 8-armed demon ape saw the other party attack, it roared as well. It waved its 8 arms and threw the nearby boulders and trees into the sky. At the same time, it opened its mouth wide, revealing its blood-red fangs. Countless amounts of spiritual qi condensed in front of it. Accompanied by a powerful demonic power, it formed a yellow energy ball. The energy overflowing from the ball was enough to kill any martial artist below the 3rd heaven venerable realm. Let's go. Lin Xian roared and left with Murong Qingqing. The two of them were very fast. They turned into rays of light and rushed towards the top of the mountain. The others also reacted and escaped. The battle between the two demonic beasts was definitely not something they could contend against. They might as well take the opportunity to leave. Lin Xian took the lead and quickly ran forward. Fortunately, the two demonic beasts appeared at the same time and started fighting. Otherwise, it would be difficult to deal with them. If that was the case with Lin Xian's means, he would have to put in some effort. The higher they went, the stronger the demonic beasts. Moreover, they appeared more frequently. Many people complained in their hearts. They originally thought that the competition would be easy, but they did not expect it to be so dangerous. It's not even as good as the arena competition. Damn, it's another demonic beast from the Earth ranking. Many people screamed and already had thoughts of retreating. This time, the demonic beast from the Earth ranking was equally terrifying. It was a demonic wolf that controlled a pack of wolves. 10,000 wolves galloped with a terrifying momentum and chased after the crowd. Run for your life. Everyone screamed and used all their strength to escape with all their might. Lin Xian also quickly dodged. At this time, the advantage of an Earth rank martial art was displayed. Chapter 757. Roars could be heard from time to time in the dense forest, and there were also countless flashes of light. Along with it, there was also a terrifying energy fluctuation. With the appearance of the demonic beasts on the Earth ranking, the freshman assessment was divided into two groups. Those weaker martial artists couldn't pass at all, while those stronger martial artists could only run all the way to the peak. Above the clouds, the elders of the Immortal Martial Academy were watching the scene below. Interesting, these little fellows are stronger than expected, the sage-like elder said with a smile. Elder Hua narrowed his eyes. I think they should know my warning now. But there's still a surprise later. A group of people looked at the mountain range below and discussed. In the mountain range below, Lin Xian displayed his Earth rank identity and increased his speed to the maximum, quickly dodging the attacks of the demonic beasts and leaving with Murong Qingqing. Gradually they approached the peak. However, the environment here was even more dangerous. Almost all the beasts here were demon generals. Luckily, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing had extraordinary skills. Otherwise they wouldn't be able to deal with them. Whoosh! The sound of something breaking through the air rang out, and a terrifying and sharp force pierced towards Lin Xian's back. Clang! Murong Qingqing waved her hand and shot out a lotus flower, blocking the attack. Then the two of them looked behind them cautiously. There was a demonic beast there. Its body was covered in scales, and there was a sharp spike on its head that flickered with a cold light. Around it there was a flash of light that was like a dancing light, flickering and flickering. That demonic beast stared at Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing, and the light on its body flickered even more intensely. In the end it gradually became translucent and rushed over. What is that? Lin Xian was shocked. He had never seen such a demonic beast before. The floating light beast specialized in stealth and assassination attacks. It was very troublesome. Murong Qingqing said in a low voice. As she spoke, the floating light beast had already rushed over. Its figure flashed and disappeared in the air. Buzz! Lin Xian frowned and quickly moved to the side. In the next moment, a sharp spike appeared where he was originally standing, piercing through the void. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. This attack was truly strange. Fortunately, his soul force was outstanding and he was able to sense it in advance. Otherwise, if it were someone else, they would have already been injured. However, even though the floating light beast was strange, it was still not enough to injure it. The sword chi in his body surged, forming a sword chi field with a diameter of 10 meters around Lin Xian, spinning rapidly. Streaks of sword chi were as fast as lightning as they intertwined with one another, seemingly capable of destroying everything. With this sword chi domain, Lin Xian was not afraid of the floating light beast's sudden attack. On the other side, Murong Qingqing was surrounded by 9-petaled lotuses, forming a screen of light that was equally powerful. Clang! Clang! The floating light beast's attacks were all blocked by the two of them. Damn, are you addicted? Lin Xian was a little angry when he saw that the floating light beast refused to give up. Then he pulled out the wind shadow sword and swung it. Red storm. Countless sword chi surged, forming a huge and terrifying storm that swept out in all directions. The terrifying sword chi swept out, destroying everything. Buff, buff. No matter how strange the floating light beast was, it was only a 1-star demon general. In terms of attack power, it was no match for Lin Xian. Therefore, when it was surrounded by the sword chi, it was quickly pierced through. Gulp. The illusory body of the floating light beast appeared, and it fell to the ground with countless sword chi stuck in its body. Lin Xian withdrew his sword and snorted coldly. At this moment, Murong Qingqing's expression changed slightly, and she quickly reminded Lin Xian. Lin Xian turned his head and saw the void ripple to the side, and a few more figures appeared. 4 floating light beasts, 3 of them were 1-star demon generals, and the larger one in the middle was a 2-star demon general. With such a lineup, coupled with that strange attack, it was really terrifying. Lin Xian saw this scene and pursed his lips. He muttered, "There are more?" Murong Qingqing sighed. "Let's go. Our target is not them but the mountaintop." Lin Xian nodded. He could use his trump card to kill these floating light beasts, but this was not a hunting competition. It was a competition of speed and time. Therefore, the two of them looked at each other and quickly left. Their figures swayed and like 2 rainbows they disappeared quickly. Behind them, the 4 floating light beasts roared when they saw Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing escaping. Their bodies turned transparent, and they quickly chased after them. Fortunately, the two of them had exquisite movement techniques and managed to shake off the floating light beasts. In the end, the two of them finally left the belly of the mountain and arrived at the mountaintop. Seeing the mountaintop in front of them, the two of them heaved a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, an earth-shattering roar came from behind them, followed by several powerful auras. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing turned around and saw Xiao Li Lan by Dongfang Phoenix, and the others rushing out of the forest. Behind them were several powerful demon generals. It seemed that they were all attacked by the demon generals. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Soon, he frowned again because the demon generals behind them did not stop attacking. Instead, they continued to chase after them. In this way, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing would also be surrounded. When Dongfang Phoenix saw Lin Xian, her face lit up. She revealed a sly smile and flew toward them. "Damn it! That crazy woman. Lin Xian's scalp went numb and he quickly left. It was no joke to be surrounded by so many demon generals. These prodigies did not fight head-on. Instead, they chose to retreat and set off toward the mountaintop. Rays of light lit up like countless shooting stars across the sky. Finally, the group arrived at the mountaintop, but they did not see the golden bell. It seemed that they still had to look for it. But Lin Xian looked around trying to find the golden bell. Suddenly, an ear-piercing demonic sound came from behind, accompanied by a terrifying force that stabbed toward him. "Be careful," Murong Qingqing shouted. Lin Xian's heart sank. He quickly turned around, pulled out the wind shadow sword and swept it out. Boom. The terrifying attack from behind collided with the wind shadow sword, creating a terrifying sound of impact. It was as if 100,000 mountains had crashed into him. The force made Lin Xian's expression change. He snorted coldly. Once again, an even more powerful spiritual force erupted from his body. At the same time, his body fluttered and dissipated the force. With 9 transformations, Lin Xian dissipated the terrifying force and landed lightly on the ground like a feather. Then his cold eyes stared ahead like a sword. "If you want to die, I can fulfill your wish." Lin Xian's voice was cold. His opponent was too vicious. Not only did he ambush him, but he also wanted to knock him off the mountaintop. He stared at Zhou Su, and a murderous aura gathered in his eyes. It was fierce and terrifying. "Want to die? Let's see if you have the right to do so." Zhou Su sneered. His body swayed and he stepped on Lin Xian's head. A powerful force fell from the sky and enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian punched out. His golden fist carried the radiance of lightning and rushed into the sky like an angry dragon. The two collided and a terrifying force exploded, causing the ground to crack. "Not good, lunatic." Chapter 758. The violent tremors caused many martial artists to run towards the center of the mountain. Only there could they safely avoid the attacks of the demonic beast. Lin Xian did not retreat. He punched towards the sky to confront Zhou Su. Boom. Terrifying energy surged. The two exchanged a few blows before pulling away. Neither of them left. Instead, they faced each other. At this moment, the demon generals in the distance also caught up. 3 huge creatures surrounded Lin Xian and Zhou Su. Zhou Su did not care about being surrounded by the demon generals. He stared at Lin Xian with a sinister smile. "Today I will let you know how powerful I am." Lin Xian's eyes were cold. Sword chi surged from his body as he prepared to attack with all his might. However, at this moment, the dark red dragon suddenly said, "Kid, hurry up and leave. There is a big guy below. You can't handle it." Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. The dark red dragon was an old monster. For it to issue a warning at this time, it was enough to show how dangerous the situation was. Without any hesitation, Lin Xian soared into the sky and flew away. Brr, brr, brr. Lin Xian dodged all the attacks of the 3 demon generals. "Ha ha, how dare you run away without a fight?" Zhou Su laughed disdainfully. Boom. Before his voice could fade away, the ground beside him suddenly split open. A gigantic tail swept out and killed a demonic general. What? Zhou Su's face changed drastically. He did not expect such a shocking change. That was a 2-star demon general. How could it be killed just like that? What kind of monster is below? At this moment he could no longer care about mocking Lin Xian. He also fled quickly. Boom, boom, boom. The black tail swept across like a sharp heavenly blade and instantly killed the 3 demon generals. Then, the entire ground began to tremble as if a peerless demon was about to be born. The demonic aura condensed together and rushed into the sky. The ground cracked open again. Another black tail, accompanied by a smoky demonic aura, rushed out of the ground. Boom. The tails kept dancing and slapping the ground nearby as if they were about to shatter the entire mountain. Lin Xian and the rest had ugly expressions as they watched this scene nervously. They didn't think that there would be such a terrifying thing at the top of the mountain that could easily kill a 2-star demon general. This was not something they could contend against. Whoosh. In the next moment, a tail as thick as a mountain pressed down on the crowd. Disperse. It was unknown who shouted, but the people in the center immediately scattered. Boom. The black tail fell, bringing with it a thick demonic aura. It smashed the ground and endless demonic aura spread out in all directions. Even more black tails appeared, a total of 9, dancing in the sky, incomparably terrifying. Above the tail, the demonic aura condensed into large black hands that grabbed at the crowd. One of them was aiming for Lin Xian. A shocking sword radiance lit up. The sword radiance was like a long rainbow as it instantly slashed at the black demonic aura hand. As the sword chi collided with the palm trembled slightly and cracks appeared on its surface. However, in the next instant, boundless demonic chi wrapped around it, and the palm was completely unharmed. Go. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. His previous attack was enough to kill a 2-star demon general, but it didn't cause any damage to this monster. This was simply too inconceivable. Therefore he did not resist it head-on. Instead he met up with Murong Qingqing. Are you alright? Murong Qingqing asked with concern. I'm fine. Lin Xian shook his head. Let's go find the golden bell first. Murong Qingqing also nodded. This is not the real mountain peak. I don't think the golden bell is here. Indeed, Lin Xian and the others were already at the top of the mountain, but it was not the highest place. The highest place was still the mountain peak in the distance. That was the highest peak of the 10,000 feet tall mountain. Not only Lin Xian but the others also thought of this. Therefore many people quickly moved and ran towards the highest mountain peak. Boom. The palm condensed from black demonic aura fiercely slapped down, blocking everyone's path. It seemed that this mountain peak was not easy to reach. Everyone was anxious. The mountain peak was right in front of them. Whoever could reach it first would be the champion of this convention. Not only could they obtain 1,000,000 spiritual value points, but they could also obtain a chance to comprehend the King's Stone statue. This kind of opportunity was extremely rare. It might only come once in a lifetime. Therefore no one wanted to give up. I can only give it my all. Lin Xian took a deep breath. His gaze gradually focused, and his body emitted a sharp aura. Murong Qingqing, Zhou Su, Dongfang Fenghuang and the others also used their full strength, preparing to attack. These people were powerful. They could be said to be the peak existence among the new students. Perhaps only they could break through. In the sky, the elders of the Immortal Martial Academy were paying close attention to everything. Some of the other mountains and the older students of the Immortal Martial Academy were also paying attention. After all, the strength of the new students was related to their future. If a powerful new student appeared, they would either subdue him or become one of them. If that was not possible, then they could only suppress him. After all, no one would ignore a threat. Lin Xian and the others stood out from the crowd and flew towards the highest mountain peak. The terrifying demonic beast underground seemed to have noticed this as well. The palm formed from demonic chi attacked together with the black tail. Not only that, but there was also a deep roar coming from the ground as if a peerless demon had awakened. The roar was deep and contained terrifying energy. It caused the surrounding mountains to crumble and turn into powder. Then the ground cracked open and countless demonic chi condensed, forming a huge black waterfall. It hung upside down from the 9 heavens and sealed off Lin Xian and the others' path. The demonic chi churned like a black demonic wall that stood in front of them, connecting heaven and earth. Lin Xian and the others' faces darkened as they stopped. Not only them but even the older students who were watching gasped. They did not expect such a terrifying demonic beast to appear. Judging by its aura, it's at least a 3-star demon general. Not to mention these new students, even those on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard might not be able to fight it. Many people shook their heads and could only mourn for these new students. Above the black demonic wall, demonic chi churned and formed countless black tentacles again, grabbing towards Lin Xian and the others. The tentacles turned into ferocious heads that let out ear-piercing screams. Lin Xian and the others' faces turned ugly. The situation had gone beyond their control. The power was too terrifying and they would be injured if they touched it. However, if they could not pass through it, they would not be able to reach the peak, let alone ring the golden bell. Therefore Lin Xian decided to give it his all. His expression was solemn and his eyes were filled with fighting spirit. His body surged with sharp sword chi as if it was going to pierce through the heavens. He stomped his foot and turned into a light sword, dashing out quickly. What? Is this kid crazy? Zhou Su and the others were not the only ones who were shocked. The older students were also shocked. Dashing out at this time was undoubtedly courting death. Above the clouds, Elder Hua and the sage-like elder nodded slightly when they saw this. Kid, you're brave, the sage-like elder said with a smile. Chapter 759. Lin Xian turned into a sword ray and rushed towards the demonic wall in front of him. This action made everyone exclaim. At the same time they shook their heads and lamented that Lin Xian was too stupid. Zhou Su snorted coldly, his eyes filled with disdain. In his opinion, Lin Xian was courting death. Boom. The sword ray soared into the sky and turned into the shape of a dragon. It roared ferociously and plunged into the demonic wall. The demonic aura shook violently, then it began to calm down as if nothing had happened. This is... Everyone was puzzled. They did not know what this meant. Did Lin Xian pass or not? Murong Qingqing's expression changed slightly. 9 lotus flowers surrounded her like a fairy. She stepped on the lotus platform and flew out. When the others saw this, they were silent for a moment, then gritted their teeth and followed behind. When Zhou Su saw this, he snorted coldly and turned into a sword light. He would not let these people succeed, especially Lin Xian, because the first place was his. With a flash of sword light, a simple giant sword appeared in the air. It was 100 meters long and quickly slashed forward. Dongfang Fenghuang's palm danced, and a strong spiritual force surged out, condensing into a flaming phoenix. It cried out to the sky and plunged into the demonic wall. Murong Qingqing stepped on the lotus platform, her white clothes fluttering. She controlled the 9-petaled lotus to form a blade and slashed down. These people all used their methods, entering the demonic wall, wanting to break out of the encirclement. Everyone looked up to see if these new geniuses could successfully break through. Especially those from Dragon Sword Pavilion who arrived later. They clenched their fists and prayed in their hearts. On the entire mountain top, there were only the low roars of peerless demonic beasts and the whistling of demonic tails. The others watched in silence. The silence lasted for a while before it was broken. Because the tall demonic wall changed again. Demonic aura rolled and a black vortex appeared on the other side of the demonic wall. It spun faster and faster as if something was about to come out. Poof, buzz. In the next moment, a sword ray soared into the sky and quickly came out of the demonic wall, flying towards the highest mountain. It's out, it's really out. Everyone exclaimed, it's a sword ray. Could it be Zhou Su? No, it's Lin Xian. Everyone looked carefully and found that the first person to come out was Lin Xian. Originally, everyone thought that it would be the powerful Zhou Su, but they didn't expect that the first to come out would be Lin Xian. Soon the demonic wall rolled and another figure flew out. This time it was the snow-white Murong Qingqing. She was like an otherworldly fairy as she stepped on a 5-colored lotus platform and floated towards the summit. Soon she was standing shoulder to shoulder with Lin Xian. Buff, buff. The demonic wall behind him surged, and those figures all came out, flying towards the mountain peak. Dongfang Fenghuang was clad in a fiery red armor that accentuated her exquisite figure. She was like a goddess of fire, causing people to gasp in admiration. Xiao Li's saber aura soared into the sky, and a terrifying crack appeared on the demonic wall. Zhou Su's expression was ice-cold. The sword energy on his body soared into the sky. A huge sword of light condensed under his feet, as if a sword god had appeared. These people used their methods to rush out of the demonic wall. They all landed on the summit of the mountain. Behind them, the demonic aura rolled and condensed again, but it didn't chase after them. Instead it stood there. After Lin Xian and the others arrived, some people in the crowd tried to break through and succeeded. Among them were Xin Yaotian, Lan Bai, and the others. A total of 7 people stood on the summit, looking at each other with hostility. Below, everyone held their breaths. They knew that the #1 new student would emerge from these people. I didn't expect 7 people to be able to break through the demonic wall. This year's new students are really interesting. Elder Hua was greatly surprised. In the distance, the senior students who were watching the battle also looked solemn. The strength of these new students was beyond their expectations. It seemed that this year's new students were even more terrifying than they had imagined. On the summit, the 7 figures stood in 4 directions, maintaining a certain distance from each other. The fact that the 7 of them were able to come here was enough to prove their strength. However, only one person could be #1, and only one person could comprehend the King's Stone statue. Therefore they had to use all their strength to defeat the other 6. Among them, Murong Qingqing and Lin Xian stood together as an alliance. The others stood alone and had no intention of forming an alliance. After all, at this time, they were all worried and didn't dare to form an alliance with others. However, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing, who had formed an alliance, became the target of everyone's attention. 5 pairs of eyes looked at the 2 of them with a trace of vigilance. Everyone, I feel that we have to get rid of someone first. Otherwise, the 2 of them forming an alliance will be too big a threat to us. Zhou Su smiled evilly and stared at Lin Xian. After hearing this, the others frowned even more. On the other hand, Lin Xian's face was gloomy. He stared at Zhou Su and suddenly his figure flashed and rushed out quickly. This attack was very sudden. In an instant, Lin Xian arrived in front of Zhou Su and slashed down with the wind shadow sword in his hand. The sword light was like a sudden clap of thunder, extremely powerful. Boom. Zhou Su also unsheathed his sword. The simple blue long sword turned into a stream of light and met the attack. The sword chi circled around and collided continuously, forming pieces of light that kept shaking. Both of them were experts in the sword. At this moment they were evenly matched. Boom boom. Boom boom. In an instant the two long swords clashed hundreds of times. The terrifying sound of metal clashing shook the surroundings, and large amounts of sword chi flew out in all directions. The surrounding mountain rocks were shattered, and countless sword holes appeared on the ground. Kid, today I'll show you what a true sword expert is. Zhou Su laughed wildly. You're not qualified to say such words. Lin Xian counterattacked with his sword and rushed forward again. Boom. Zhou Su slashed down with his blue long sword. The brilliant sword light was like a vast ocean, and like a vast star, it enveloped Lin Xian. His first move was a consummate skill, sea of stars connecting heaven. Boom boom boom. This sword forced Lin Xian back. Haha, you're really pitifully weak. Zhou Su laughed. Do you want to call your companions and attack together? There's no need to go through so much trouble to deal with you. Lin Xian was forced back, but he was not angry. On the contrary, his expression was calm, but the aura on his body became sharper. Then you won't have a chance. Zhou Su sneered. Guys, I'll hold this kid back. You can go and ring the golden bell. Hearing this, the others frowned. I don't like to take advantage of others. Go ahead and fight. If you lose, I'll defeat Lin Xian. If you win, I'll defeat you. I'll ring the golden bell after I've defeated everyone, Shaoli said coldly. His eyes were full of fighting spirit. To him it was not important whether he rang the bell or not. Defeating everyone was the most important. Xin Yaotian and the others looked at the golden bell in the distance. Chapter 760. If you don't want it, then the golden bell is mine. A fiery red figure flew out. It was Dongfang Phoenix. She did not care about the battle between Lin Xian and Zhou Su. In her opinion, getting the golden bell was the most important thing. However, as soon as she moved, a five-colored light intercepted her like a meteor. The next moment, the beauty in white appeared and blocked her way. What do you mean? Dongfang Phoenix had a fiery temper. Seeing someone intercepting her, she immediately shouted. It's very simple. You can't go. Murong Qingqing's voice was calm. Are you trying to stop me? Dongfang Phoenix glared. Flames surged out of her body and jumped. In her hand, a fiery red whip was condensed. It was like a spirit snake circling around her. If you think so, then I can't help it. Murong Qingqing said in a deep voice, I'm not targeting you. It's just that before the outcome of the battle is decided, no one can go. Murong Qingqing was not very interested in this conference. To be honest, although the king's stone statue was tempting, it was not a fatal temptation for her. She was from a king family. However, unlike Xin Yaotian, she was not an ordinary disciple. She was a princess-like existence in the family. Therefore, although she was young, her identity was special. She was able to come into contact with the core of the family, including some of the king's inheritances. Moreover, due to her bloodline, she could not cultivate other inheritances. In other words, Murong Qingqing did not care much about this freshman conference. The only one she cared about was Lin Xian. Since Lin Xian wanted the king's stone statue, she would do her best to help him. Hearing Murong Qingqing's firm words, Dongfang Phoenix's pretty face turned cold. The divine flames on her body jumped as if she would attack at any time. The other party dared to intercept her. How hateful. Moreover, what made her even angrier was that the other party's appearance, figure, and strength did not belong to her. As a woman, she was naturally repelled. Therefore, the atmosphere between the two was very tense. A battle could break out at any time. Seeing Murong Qingqing stop Dongfang Phoenix, the others were also surprised. However, their eyes became fiery. Now that the strongest few of them had been pinned down, their chance had come. This was especially true for Xin Yaotian. Although he was a disciple of a sovereign clan, he was only a branch disciple and could not come into contact with the core matters. And this time, it was a chance for him to obtain the king's inheritance. With a flicker of his body, he dashed out with 108 rings like a god of war of the stars. Haha, then I'll take my leave first. Boom. Shocking saber light flashed, like a divine chain, cutting through the sky, slashing toward Xin Yaotian. Xin Yaotian's expression changed greatly. His body kept moving and only then did he manage to dodge this attack. Then, his face darkened as he stared at Xiao Li. What do you mean? Stay. Xiao Li's voice was cold as he spat out 2 words. You're courting death. Xin Yaotian was infuriated. This was a great opportunity. Whoever tried to stop him would be his enemy. Thus he roared angrily and threw out a punch. Furthermore, his figure quickly rushed out. Xiao Li coldly snorted. He raised his saber and slashed out, fighting with Xin Yaotian. The crowd below was stunned. They did not expect the 2 of them to fight first. Murong Qingqing stared at the last person. However, to her surprise, the young man called Lan Bai did not make a move. Instead, he sat at the side and watched the show. Zhou Su looked around and heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that no one was running toward the golden bell. In this way he could deal with Lin Xian with all his might. Kid, let me play with you. Zhou Su sneered. Then he took a step forward and spiritual power surged out of his body like a volcanic eruption. His aura was extraordinary. He held the blue longsword and slashed down. The sword light was sharp and carried a soul-stirring cold light. It was like a peerless divine weapon that made one's heart tremble. This sword slashed directly at Lin Xian. Buzz. Lin Xian also drew his sword and counterattacked. The sword chi was like a rainbow, carrying a scorching heat. It was extremely violent and charged forward like a fire dragon. Bang! The 2 swords collided and the sound split the air. Terrifying energy swept in all directions. This time the 2 of them were evenly matched and each took a step back. I didn't expect you to have some strength. Zhou Su's expression was cold as he looked down at Lin Xian condescendingly. However, you're completely useless against me. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly, revealing a strong sense of disdain. In the next moment, a shocking aura burst forth from his body as if a peerless beast had awakened. The majestic spiritual power formed a shocking pillar of light that shattered the clouds in the sky. That's a second heaven venerable. Down below, the surrounding people were shocked, their faces full of shock. Even the seniors were surprised. They did not expect a freshman to be able to reach the second heaven venerable realm. Even the seniors would need a few years to do so. Above the clouds, the 2 elders and tutors were also slightly surprised when they saw this scene. Not bad. He's already at the second heaven venerable realm. His future achievements are probably limitless. I wonder how the first kid who rushed out will fare. If he doesn't have any special methods, he's probably going to lose. The 2 elders conversed in low voices. Do you really think that I'm the same as you? Zhou Su laughed disdainfully. I've already reached the second heaven venerable realm. In front of me you're just a useless ant. Zhou Su was like a high and mighty god as he looked down at Lin Xian. Materialized sword chi surged from his body, forming a sword chi domain that enveloped the surroundings. What trump cards do you have? You'd better use them as soon as possible. Otherwise you won't have a chance when I attack. Zhou Su strolled in the air as if he did not take Lin Xian seriously. Second heaven venerable. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He did not expect the other party to have such a cultivation. To be honest, he was indeed a little surprised, but it was still within his acceptable range. Furthermore, it would be abnormal if the other party did not have any trump cards. Second heaven venerable? Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly. Ever since he broke through, he had not really fought. This was a good opportunity. Let me see how strong you are as a second heaven venerable. Lin Xian looked to the front as the battle intent in his eyes rose. You're overestimating yourself. Zhou Su sneered disdainfully and slashed out with his sword. This sword was several times more powerful than the previous one. There were 9 venerable realms, and the gap between each venerable realm was huge. Without special methods, it was impossible to fight against someone of a higher level. The surrounding people were paying attention, especially those from the Dragon Sword Pavilion. They were extremely nervous. Brother Xian will definitely win. Wang Li and the others clenched their fists and said. The freshmen at the side sneered and shook their heads. Could he win? What a joke, the other party was a second heaven venerable. Even if you have a trump card, does it mean that the other party doesn't? This battle would definitely be one-sided. Apart from the Dragon Sword Pavilion and Murong Qingqing, no one was optimistic about Lin Xian. In the void, sword chi whistled and shattered everything. It tore through the void and instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian. Chapter 761. In the face of Zhou Su's powerful attack, Lin Xian charged forward with his sword. You overestimate yourself. Zhou Su sneered. Everyone below was shocked and sighed at Lin Xian's unwise decision. At this time, the best way was to dodge and use his movement technique to fight with his opponent. After all, there was a small gap between the two of them. Moreover, it was a small gap in the venerable realm. The gap between them was not small. However, Lin Xian's decision was beyond everyone's expectations. Buzz. The wind shadow sword slashed upwards, turning into a flaming sword that burned fiercely. The terrifying aura caused the void to distort. Clang. The two swords collided like fire and water, emitting a sizzling sound. Countless white mist rose and surged in all directions. Energy overflowed and cut terrifying cracks in the ground. What, he blocked it? Everyone was shocked because Lin Xian was not sent flying as they had imagined. Instead, he blocked Zhou Su's sword. Damn brat. Zhou Su's expression was ugly. Although he did not use his full strength, it was not something a first-level venerable could block. It seemed that his opponent's strength was above his expectations. However, this was more interesting. Very good, it seems that I underestimated you. Zhou Su smiled evilly. However, I only used 70% of my strength just now. Next, I will use 90% of my strength. What, Zhou Su only used 70% of his strength? Everyone was shocked. No wonder Lin Xian could block it. It turned out that he did not use his full strength. Like I said, how can a first-level venerable fight against a second-level venerable? Hearing Zhou Su's words, Lin Xian also smiled. He stared at his opponent and said slowly, "Is that so? But I only used half of my strength." It seems that you're really weak. What, half of his strength? Everyone exclaimed. That's impossible. He's bragging, he must be bragging. No matter how powerful a first-level venerable is, it's impossible for him to block a second-level venerable with half of his strength. That's right, it's too fake. No one will believe it. No one believed it, but the people of Dragon Sword Pavilion all cheered. They were originally worried, but now that they heard Lin Xian's words, they were once again relieved. Lin Xian's words couldn't be wrong. Zhou Su stared blankly for a moment before bursting into laughter. His voice was filled with disdain. Brat, you really dare to say that? I think you've been overwhelmed by your inferiority complex. Let me help you clear your head. Flying waterfall slash. With a thrust of his sword, the azure waterfall surged and rolled towards Lin Xian. The sky was covered and a terrifying aura spread out in all directions. Zhou Su laughed nastily. He had used 90% of his strength in this strike. Sword of Summer, Raging Inferno. Lin Xian's voice was cold as he stabbed his sword into the sky. Countless flames flickered, condensing into a flame sword that slashed out. Immediately, the sea of fire spread out and covered the entire sky. It dyed the sky red. In the sky, two types of energy of opposite attributes collided. Terrifying shockwaves burst forth, tearing the sky apart. Boom. The sound of thunder surged and energy spread out. The sky was a terrifying scene. The freshmen below were scared and all of them retreated. Tempest wings. A pair of tempest wings appeared on Lin Xian's back. His figure flashed and disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Zhou Su. The long sword in his hand was like a gust of wind. Countless sword rays shot out and shrouded Zhou Su. The sword rays carried a chilling, murderous aura that condensed the air between heaven and earth. You're courting death. Zhou Su was furious. He no longer had his previous calmness. He had used 90% of his strength, but he still could not take down his opponent. Instead, he allowed his opponent to attack him. This was a disgrace to him. His body swayed and Zhou Su drew out a brilliant afterimage in the air. He dodged Lin Xian's sword ray attack. Then he slashed out with his sword. A white sword ray flew out, emitting a terrifying aura. 100-meter-long white tiger shadow condensed around it. Boom. This strike was even more powerful. It was extremely terrifying. Before the sword arrived, its aura was already enough to make countless people tremble. What is that? It's so terrifying. The crowd below was shocked. The senior students in the distance also frowned. The white tiger is mainly used for killing. This is a killing sword. What a strong killing aura. On the clouds, a few elders and mentors were also paying close attention. You should be proud to die under my white tiger killing sword. Zhou Su's expression was cold. His body was surging with murderous aura, forming a materialized white tiger shadow. Killing aura? Lin Xian looked at the white tiger sword that was charging at him. The smile on his face became wider. You want to compete with me in killing aura? In the next moment he sheathed the Tempest sword. He clenched his hand and a blood-red long sword quickly appeared. Killing sword. As soon as the blood-red long sword appeared, a terrifying killing aura spread out. Accompanying it was the smell of blood. The terrifying murderous aura seemed to have come from hell and was about to tear the 9 heavens apart. What? This killing aura? Everyone was stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to have such a killing attack. Moreover, his aura seemed to be even stronger. These 2 fellows should be the strongest among this batch of new students. The senior students' eyes flickered. However, the elders on the clouds narrowed their eyes. Interesting. These 2 fellows are not bad. Your killing aura is too weak, Lin Xian said in a low voice. Then he slashed out with his sword. Whoosh! The killing sword whistled. As the sword slashed out, blood-red sword aura rushed out. Around the sword aura, countless blood seas and stone mountains were formed. It was extremely terrifying, like Azura from hell. Boom! The killing sword and the white tiger sword collided, producing a clanging sound. The tiger roared and a sea of blood filled the sky. The 2 forces collided, causing the entire sky to tremble. Kill! Lin Xian shouted angrily again. He raised his sword and charged forward. Blood-red sword light surrounded his body, making him look like a killing god from hell. Boom! 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 Lin Xian slashed out dozens of times. The terrifying sword aura was like a blood-red river that surrounded Zhou Su and was about to drown him. Zhou Su shouted angrily. His aura surged again. At the same time, a white tiger appeared behind him and roared. The terrifying sound was like a wave, shattering the surrounding blood-red sword aura. Brat, you've angered me. The white tiger behind Zhou Su blasted away all the blood-red sword aura. Then it stared coldly at Lin Xian. This time I'll go all out. White tiger martial soul. I didn't expect it to be the white tiger martial soul. The crowd exclaimed. No wonder his killing aura was so strong. Zhou Su had already used his martial soul. It seemed like he was going to go all out. They wondered what Lin Xian's martial soul was. Many people were curious. They knew that Lin Xian was strong, but they had never seen Lin Xian condense his martial soul. White tiger kill. Zhou Su was surrounded by the white tiger. He raised his hand and slashed out with his sword. The sword aura was 1,000 meters long, crushing the surroundings. This sword was too strong. It was like a white tiger galloping in the void. Even a martial artist of the same level would not be able to withstand it. There was no other way. Condensing one's martial soul would allow one's combat strength to reach its peak. Zhou Su was currently in this state. Chapter 762. Lin Xian wielded the Sword of Slaughter and slashed out 18 times in a row. The 18 streaks of sword chi formed a blood-red sword diagram that enveloped the surroundings. Boom! The white tiger sword chi collided with the blood-red sword diagram, creating a shocking collision. Both of their attacks were extremely powerful, and the impact of the collision was even more terrifying. Many people below could not withstand the killing intent and retreated with pale faces. How terrifying! The new students were shocked. The aura just now had almost killed them, but that was only the aftermath. One could imagine what kind of impact the 2 people in the middle of the battlefield had to endure. Blood-red sword chi surged around Lin Xian like 18 heavenly pillars that surrounded him and protected him. Zhou Su had the white tiger by his side and was full of killing intent. What? He blocked it? Zhou Su's pupils constricted. He realized that Lin Xian's blood-red sword diagram had blocked his white tiger sword chi. That was unbelievable. Could it be that Lin Xian could really contend with him? Zhou Su's face darkened and became very ugly. It would have been fine if they were in the same realm, but Lin Xian was only a first-level venerable, 1 realm lower than him. However, the 2 of them were tied. Didn't that mean that he was inferior to Lin Xian? Zhou Su's face darkened at the thought of that. Killing intent surged in his eyes and his body was overflowing. Beside him, the white tiger martial soul became more condensed, as if it was a ferocious beast. Looks like I can only use that move. Zhou Su's expression was grave as if he had made a decision. In the next moment he took a step forward and merged with the white tiger martial soul beside him. A dazzling light exploded in the sky. The light was stronger than the sun, and it was so blinding that everyone could not open their eyes. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. His gaze was like a sword that pierced through the void as he looked ahead. Then he frowned slightly. The white light in front of him gradually disappeared, and a powerful force erupted like a tsunami, sweeping through the world. Everyone was shocked. Zhou Su's aura seemed to have become stronger. In the distance, the seniors also had grave expressions. This kid has so many trump cards. He actually merged with his martial soul. That Lin Xian is even more powerful. It seems that he hasn't condensed his martial soul yet. A few senior students discussed in low voices, and there was even a trace of fear in their expressions. This was because the strength displayed by Lin Xian and Yi Zichen was not weaker than theirs. In fact, they had even surpassed many of the older students. In the sky, the white light dissipated, and Zhou Su's figure appeared. He had a head of black hair and stood in the void. His body was covered in a layer of white tiger armor. It was dazzling and radiated a sharp aura. Not only that, but the azure longsword in his hand also changed its appearance. It turned into the white tiger killing sword, emitting a cold light. This time, let's see how you block it. Zhou Su let out a ferocious roar. His body flickered and he instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian. So fast. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. The wind and thunder wings on his back transformed into a streak of wind and thunder as he dodged rapidly. However, Zhou Su, who had fused with the white tiger martial soul, was too powerful. His speed was extremely fast and he was practically flying right next to Lin Xian. Die. He slashed out with his sword, and the white tiger's roar shook the forest, causing the demonic beasts in the distance to tremble. This sword was powerful and heavy, and it was filled with murderous intent. It slashed horizontally at Lin Xian. Lin Xian raised his sword to block, but there was a loud bang as he was forced back. Whoosh! He slid a few hundred meters in the air before he stopped. The killing sword in his hand had also become a little dim. Your strength has increased by quite a bit. Lin Xian looked at Zhou Su and frowned slightly. The crowd below exclaimed, "He's been forced back." Lin Xian's strength was obvious to all. However, he had been forced back, which was enough to show how terrifying Zhou Su was. "Kid, this time I won't give you any chance." Zhou Su let out a sinister laugh and charged out again. Boom, boom, boom. He was like a ghost as he flew rapidly in the air. The white tiger killing sword in his hand was even more frenzied, forcing Lin Xian to retreat every time. "Haha kid, how are you going to fight me?" Boom. It was another terrifying attack. The white tiger killing sword emitted a dazzling white light as if it had been possessed by a ferocious white tiger. It directly bit the killing sword in Lin Xian's hand into pieces. Lin Xian was also forced back by this huge force. His entire arm was buzzing and numb. "Kid, use your martial soul. Otherwise you won't have any chance." Zhou Su held the white tiger killing sword in his hand and pointed it at Lin Xian. "To deal with you, I have to use my martial soul." Lin Xian shook his head slightly and formed the killing sword again. "It's useless. Don't overestimate yourself." Zhou Su sneered when he saw Lin Xian forming the killing sword again. "If I can break it once, I can break it a second time. If you don't use your martial soul, you won't have any chance to fight back." "Is that so?" Lin Xian sneered. He held the killing sword in his right hand and formed it again. Black gas surged and quickly formed a pitch-black sword. The Sword of Nirvana. The pitch-black sword was like a sword of death, exuding an aura of death. With both swords in his hands, Lin Xian was like the Grim Reaper. The red and black swords flashed in his hands, and two forces surrounded him. "What's that?" Seeing the pitch-black sword, the people below were shocked again. The aura of death made them feel very uncomfortable, as if the vitality in their bodies was disappearing. What a strange power. Even the seniors were shocked. This brat really has a lot of trump cards. Above the clouds, the sage-like elder stroked his beard. This kid is not simple. Elder Hua narrowed his eyes and stared at Lin Xian curiously. In the sky, Zhou Su frowned. He did not expect Lin Xian to have such a deathly power. That strange aura made him feel uncomfortable. "We can't wait any longer. Otherwise, who knows what other strange things that kid has." Zhou Su's face darkened. His body swayed and he attacked again. "I've played enough. Let's end this." The white tiger killing sword surged and a terrifying sword chi slashed down. The brilliant light shattered part of the sky. Sword of Nirvana. Lin Xian snorted coldly and stabbed out with the Sword of Nirvana. The black sword chi surged into the sky like the river Styx. Sizzle. There was no earth-shattering explosion. The black sword chi collided with the white tiger killing sword and kept rolling. It released a deathly power to wear down the white tiger killing sword. In an instant, the white tiger sword chi dimmed as if its power had been drained. How strange. Zhou Su was shocked. His opponent's sword chi could wear down his power. It was impossible to guard against it. Destroy. He snorted coldly, and his spiritual power surged into the white tiger killing sword. Suddenly, the dimmed white tiger killing sword shone again and cut the black sword chi apart. It's useless. No matter how strange your techniques are, everything is futile in front of absolute power. Zhou Su's expression was cold. He was like the god of death. Absolute power is terrifying, but in front of me you're not absolute power. Lin Xian sneered. So, killing you is like slaughtering a dog. Chapter 763. Lin Xian held the two swords in his hands and quickly merged them. The pitch-black sword of Nirvana merged with the blood-red sword of Massacre to form a demonic sword. The sword was slender and surrounded by red and black sword inscriptions. It emitted a murderous aura. With the sword in his hand, Lin Xian's aura became stronger. He was not afraid of Zhou Su, who had merged with the white tiger martial soul. Merge. Zhou Su furrowed his brows as well. Lin Xian had once again displayed a strange technique. He was actually able to fuse two different types of sword auras. This was simply too unbelievable. This brat must be dealt with quickly. Zhou Su felt uneasy. Sword chi gathered on the white tiger killing sword and formed a ferocious tiger head. It was ferocious and terrifying as it looked down on the world. Then the tiger head spat out a ray of sword light. It was like a heavenly pillar that swept in all directions. Tiger roar golden annihilation. Boom. The sky-piercing sword chi fell as if it was tearing the sky apart. It was strong and powerful, and it carried a terrifying aura as it fell toward Lin Xian. The sword chi surged, and the aura made the eyelids of the seniors in the distance twitch. It was too terrifying. Even a second-rank supremacy could not withstand it. In fact, they would die if they touched it. The sky-piercing white tiger sword chi was so heavy that it crushed the surrounding mountains. Clang. Lin Xian held the demonic sword in his hand and slashed at the sky-piercing white tiger sword chi. Sparks flew in all directions as if countless shooting stars were flying. Sparks fell and pierced the ground, forming a terrifying black hole. The surrounding martial artists were so frightened that they fled. This sword was too terrifying. Murderous aura circulated, and the white tiger's aura surged. It was as if it was going to cut the mountain in half. Lin Xian resisted it and immediately felt a huge force surge toward him, causing his arm to go numb. He knew that this should be one of Zhou Su's killing moves. Feeling the danger, Lin Xian let out a long roar and used the earth-grade martial art, Gale Lightning Sword. The void trembled and a huge sword appeared. It was simple and majestic as if it had traveled from the ancient times. In the next moment he slashed at the sky-piercing white tiger sword chi. An earth-shattering sound rang out as the two giant swords clashed in the air, almost destroying the 10,000 zhang tall mountain. This attack was too terrifying. The energy that scattered in all directions caused Shaoli Xinyaotian and the others who were fighting nearby to stop and retreat. Furthermore, every single one of them had a look of shock on their faces. Even the elders on the clouds had grave expressions on their faces. This is an earth-tier martial art. Elder Hua narrowed his eyes. Both of them were using earth-tier martial arts. In the sky, Zhou Su's expression was unsightly. He actually failed to take down the other party. This was already his greatest trump card. Not only did it fuse with the White Tiger martial spirit, but it was also an earth-ranked martial art, White Tiger Golden Light Annihilation. Most likely, no one in the second level of the Venerate realm could compare to him. Even if it was a third-level Venerate, he was confident that he could put up a fight. However, Lin Xian was able to withstand it. Furthermore, the terrifying aura emanating from the martial arts that the other party used was not any weaker than his. Earth-tier martial art. This fellow has also mastered an earth-tier martial art. Zhou Su's face was gloomy, and his eyes were burning with rage. He could not wait to tear Lin Xian apart. Then let's see whose earth-tier martial art is more powerful. Zhou Su shouted angrily. He roared into the sky as if he had gone mad. He circulated all the spiritual energy in his body and waved the white tiger killing sword in his hand. A terrifying tiger roar rang out, shaking the heavens and the earth. Then another shocking sword radiance slashed out rapidly. Umph. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He waved his sleeve and removed the demon sword in his hand. In its place was a wind sword and a thunder sword. Although the demon sword was powerful, it did not match the attributes of the Gale Lightning Sword, so it could not unleash its full power. Only the power of wind and thunder could unleash the power of this earth-tier martial art. In an instant, a green jade-like long sword appeared. Green air flowed around it and it contained a powerful wind concept. On the other side, golden electric arcs danced and formed a golden sword of thunder. When the two swords appeared, the power of wind and thunder filled the sky. What? Wind and thunder attributes? Everyone was stunned. How many attributes did Lin Xian have? The older students' mouths twitched. This guy was too monstrous. They could not help but think of the few fellows in the academy. They had the same experience back then, and now they were the big shots in the Celestial Martial Arts Academy. Lin Xian's future was limitless. Zhou Su's face darkened. He roared and sped up the attack of the White Tiger Sword Qi. Gale Lightning Sword, Double Sword Star Destruction. Boom. Boom. Two gigantic swords appeared in the sky. Green lightning circled around them and it was extremely terrifying. The Gale Lightning Sword and the Thunder Sword complemented each other and slashed toward the White Tiger Killing Sword. Boom. Boom. The entire sky exploded, and a violent destruction occurred in all directions. Crack. 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 The White Tiger Killing Sword trembled slightly. Then it became more and more intense. No, block it. Zhou Su was furious. He circulated his spiritual energy without any regard for his life. At this moment, Lin Xian took a deep breath and shouted, Gale Lightning Sword, 3 sword scares ghosts and gods. Boom. Another gigantic sword descended from the heavens. What? There's more. Everyone was stunned. Was he still human? Elder Hua was also shocked. Earth-rank martial arts consumes a lot of spiritual energy. With their cultivation they can only perform it twice. How can they perform it again? Could it be that this brat has some trump card that we don't know about? Zhou Su was even more shocked. The spiritual energy in his body was almost exhausted. Even the speed at which he circulated the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was much slower. He could not perform it a third time. However, Lin Xian could still perform it. This was unbelievable. Impossible. He shouted in horror. There was a hint of fear in his eyes. Ignorant. Lin Xian sneered. He practiced the art of longevity. The spiritual energy in his body was endless. His circulation of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was much better than ordinary people. Therefore, it was easy for him to perform the earth-rank martial arts. Moreover, this was not his limit. He could still perform it one more time. However, he would not do that. This was because he wanted to use this as his last trump card. Moreover, his opponent could not hold on any longer. Indeed, Zhou Su could not hold on any longer. The 3 gigantic swords put a lot of pressure on him. His White Tiger Killing Sword would shatter soon. At that time he would be doomed. Retreat. Zhou Su did not hesitate. If he did not leave now, he would not be able to leave anymore. Whoosh. Zhou Su turned into a bolt of lightning and fled into the distance. The White Tiger Killing Sword did not have any energy to support it. It was instantly destroyed by the Gale Lightning Sword. Then a huge sword energy slashed toward Zhou Su. Tantric blood escape. Seeing the terrifying sword energy, Zhou Su spat out a mouthful of blood essence. It formed a pair of blood wings and carried him away from the attack range of the light sword. Off 1,000 meters away, Zhou Su could not stop panting. His face was pale without a trace of blood. Lin Xian, I won't let you go. Zhou Su stared at the voice in the distance with a ferocious expression. Chapter 764. In an instant, Lin Xian appeared in front of Zhou Su and stabbed down with the golden thunder sword in his hand. What? Everyone was shocked. They did not expect Lin Xian to be so decisive. Zhou Su's pupils constricted. At the critical moment, he used his life-saving technique again and moved 100 feet away. You still have a trump card? Lin Xian's sword missed and he frowned. Zhou Su was indeed difficult to deal with. He still had a life-saving trump card. However, Zhou Su still could not escape from his hands. In the next moment, he stepped out again and the golden thunder sword hung above Zhou Su's head. In an instant, Zhou Su's face became very ugly. He had used up all his trump cards. He felt extremely sullen. This was completely different from what he had expected. In his imagination, the one kneeling and begging for mercy should be Lin Xian. But now he was the one who had lost. I'm curious. We don't know each other, so why are you so angry that you have to target me? Lin Xian asked. He was very puzzled, so he wanted to clarify it now. Humph, it is true that we have never met before. In fact, I only found out about you from my younger sister. She said that you're a sword genius that's hard to come by in 10,000 years. I'm not convinced because I'm the #1 sword genius. Zhou Su gritted his teeth and said. Your sister? Lin Xian was even more puzzled. Zhou Jianying, you shouldn't have forgotten. Zhou Su snorted. It's her. Lin Xian was surprised. A figure appeared in his mind. She was dressed in green and held a 3-foot-long sword, looking down on the heroes. Lin Xian naturally would not forget this girl who fought with him at the Azure Dragon Assembly in the Nantian region. However, he did not expect that a few words of praise would cause such trouble. Compared to your sister, you're even worse than trash, Lin Xian said coldly. Then he swung his sword and cut off a strand of Zhou Su's black hair. If this wasn't a competition, you would be dead. After saying that, he turned around and ignored Zhou Su. Damn it. Zhou Su's face was gloomy and his body trembled. Today was a great humiliation for him. He would definitely take revenge for this. Standing up with difficulty, Zhou Su's figure flashed as he rushed down the mountain. If he couldn't get first place, he wouldn't want any ranking. Looking at the disappearing figure, everyone's hearts trembled. Lin Xian was too strong. Even Zhou Su was no match for him. Perhaps no one here was his match. I'm going to take first place in this competition. Anyone who isn't convinced can come over now, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Domineering to domineering. This was equivalent to declaring war against the other 5. Brother Xian is mighty. The people from Dragon Sword Pavilion roared excitedly. This domineering and powerful young man was their boss. Xin Yaotian stared at Lin Xian and snorted coldly, but he did not make a move. The battle just now had shocked him. Although he was unwilling to admit it, he was no match for Lin Xian. Although we are not your opponent, if you want to be number 1, you can't just say a few words, Xin Yaotian said coldly. I'll fight you. Dongfang Phoenix was hot-tempered. She couldn't hold it in any longer. She shook the flame spirit whip in her hand and the divine flames on her body burned fiercely. On the other side, Shaoli also stepped forward. His eyes were full of fighting spirit and his body was surrounded by sword qi. The battle just now consumed a lot of your spiritual power. I won't take advantage of you. You should recover first. Although Lin Xian's performance was very strong, he was very confident in himself. Lin Xian smiled. This guy was still the same as before. He looked around and suddenly saw Lan Bai, who had been sitting silently, stand up with a faint smile. Sorry, the number 1 freshman this time is mine. His voice wasn't loud, but it reached everyone's ears. First place is yours? Xin Yaotian snorted coldly. Who do you think you are? Don't you think you're too arrogant? The others frowned and stared at Lan Bai with unfriendly expressions. Even Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't expect this silent young man to say such words at this time. Whether I'm arrogant or not, you'll know soon enough. Lan Bai chuckled and walked toward the crowd with a calm expression. He didn't take them seriously at all. Let me see what kind of strength you have that you dare to say such words. Xin Yaotian looked ferocious and waved his palm. Terrifying spiritual power quickly condensed and a huge light palm formed in the air. However, Lan Bai didn't dodge. He didn't even look at it. He seemed to be more arrogant than Lin Xian. You're courting death. Seeing that he was ignored, Xin Yaotian was furious. He sped up and waved his palm. Disperse. Lan Bai smiled faintly and spat out a word softly. The next moment, the terrifying light palm in the sky disappeared and turned into a rain of light, scattering on the ground. What? How is this possible? Xin Yaotian was stunned. The crowd below was also stunned. What's going on? No matter if it was them, everyone was stunned. Even the few elders on the clouds were slightly surprised. The mentors were stunned, but the 2 elders frowned slightly. Elder Hua sensed carefully. She stretched out her slender hand and brushed it in the air. Then a smile appeared on her face. She turned her head and exchanged glances with the sage-like elder. Then she nodded slightly. It seemed that the 2 elders had understood. However, Lin Xian and the others didn't understand. Xin Yaotian especially was stunned. His attack was actually neutralized by a single sentence? That was unbelievable. Impossible. I don't believe it. Xin Yaotian's face was gloomy. He quickly raised his hand and prepared to attack again. However, the next moment he was stunned on the spot. What? That's impossible. He screamed in horror. His expression was one of utter terror. My spiritual power? What did you do? Why can't I mobilize my spiritual power? Xin Yaotian panicked. He tried several times but to no avail. He couldn't even mobilize the spiritual power in the air. Hearing that, Lin Xian and the others were shocked. They began to check their bodies. Then their faces turned ugly. That was because they couldn't mobilize their spiritual power either. What's going on? Dongfang Fenghuang was furious. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes and remained silent. Poison, it's poison. Murong Qingqing sighed. We seem to have forgotten that he's a poisoner. Poison. Everyone was in a daze. Their faces were full of shock. As expected of Goddess Murong. You're so knowledgeable. You noticed the problem so quickly. Lan Bai chuckled. That's right. It's poison. But he didn't touch us. How could he poison us? Xin Yaoyin's face turned ugly. If I wanted to poison you, why would I need to touch you? Lan Bai put his hands behind his back and said arrogantly, as long as I want to, everything in the world can be my means of poisoning. For example, this time I only need to put the poison in the air and let you slowly inhale it. And this poison is colorless and tasteless. Xiao Li asked in a deep voice. Yes, colorless and tasteless. No one below the third level of supremacy can detect it. Lan Bai said, without my antidote you're no different from trash. Chapter 765. Lan Bai controlled the crowd with poison and walked toward the golden bell. I see. It's poison. Lin Xian's eyebrows relaxed. He activated the dragon sword soul to eliminate the invisible poison in his body. Then he drew his sword and blocked Lan Bai's way. Take your sword away. Stop struggling. Lan Bai smiled. You're no match for me now. He glanced at Lin Xian indifferently. If you don't want to lose too badly, I advise you not to fight. Is that so? Lin Xian smiled. What if I insist on making a move? Then don't blame me. Lan Bai raised his palm and a layer of green light gathered above it. He waved it quickly. 5 poison palm. The wind from the palm contained deadly poison. Anyone who touched it would die. It was terrifying. Oh no. Lin Xian is in trouble. Dodge. Many people exclaimed and were very anxious. Whoosh. A beam of sword light flashed and cut through the void, cutting the poisonous palm of light in half. What? Everyone was stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to be able to mobilize spiritual power. Lan Bai was also shocked. He stammered, You, I told you that it's not easy to get first place, Lin Xian said. Now do you still want to fight? Forget it. You win. First place is yours. Lan Bai shrugged. I can only take second place. Not necessarily. Murong Qingqing suddenly smiled. Then a colorful light flowed around her body. The 9-petaled lotus danced quickly and destroyed the invisible poison. Lan Bai's expression changed again when he saw this. His face was filled with bitterness. You city people are really strong. You can detoxify the poison so quickly. Lan Bai was depressed. I'm the #1 poison master in my hometown. No one can detoxify my poison. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned into a green light and rushed toward the top of the mountain. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing also used their movement techniques and rushed up. The others quickly detoxified the poison. Their movement techniques were better than Lan Bai's, so they quickly overtook him. Whoosh. 2 figures landed in front of the golden bell. It was really Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing. Who wants to go first? Lin Xian rubbed his chin and said, Want to go together? Murong Qingqing rolled her eyes at him. I have my family's inheritance, so the King's stone statue is not of much use to me. You go first. However, after this, you have to help me refine pills. All right. Lin Xian didn't refuse. He was different from Murong Qingqing. Without the support of a strong family, he could only rely on himself. Clenching his right hand into a fist, he punched the golden bell. Immediately, the bell began to ring, emitting a deep sound that echoed throughout the entire forest. This also indicated that Lin Xian would be the champion of the freshman assembly. Lin Xian. In the distance, many senior students silently muttered this name with solemn expressions. The few elders of the Immortal Martial Academy also nodded slightly. Not bad. Although he doesn't have the power of bloodline, his strength is still very strong. After Lin Xian rang the golden bell, everyone began to madly charge towards the mountain peak. After all, the ranking was related to the amount of spiritual value points. At this moment, Xiao Li and the others also expelled the invisible poison from their bodies and quickly rushed over. Soon the freshman assembly came to an end. In the sky, auspicious clouds floated, and the 2 elders appeared once again. This competition was very exciting, and the champion was well-deserved. The others' performances were also very outstanding. Elder Hua said. Can be said that all of you are very talented. However, I still want to say that this is only the beginning of your time in the Immortal Martial Academy. I hope that all of you will work hard and step into a higher realm of martial arts. Thank you for your teachings, Elder. Lin Xian and the others said respectfully. Alright, the rewards will be given to all of you later. Go back and rest now. Elder Hua waved his hand and led everyone away. Brother Xian. After the elder left, the people of the Dragon Sword Pavilion all gathered around with excited expressions. Too cool. Idol. Brother Xian, how did you cure that poison? Many people were puzzled. But Lin Xian couldn't tell them. He just smiled. Relax in a while. Tonight I'll prepare spirit wine. Everyone is drunk. All right. Everyone was excited. The effect of Lin Xian's spirit wine was super good. At this moment, even more freshmen ran over wanting to join the Dragon Sword Pavilion. There was no other way. Lin Xian's previous performance was too shocking. Moreover, this result meant that he was the number one among the freshmen. With this kind of strength, his future achievements would be great. Therefore, countless people wanted to join. At the mountain peak in the distance, the seniors frowned when they saw this scene. It seems that this kid won't join us? What should we do? Should we suppress them? If it's not so easy to create a club. It's not enough to just have a strong person. I think that the other experts among the freshmen won't join him. Someone shook his head. Send an invitation to the others. As for him, we can try to subdue him. If we recruit the entire club, our strength will increase by a lot. A few seniors discussed in low voices, preparing for the next step. As for Lin Xian and the others, they returned to the freshman courtyard and began to celebrate. A night of revelry. The next day, everyone once again entered a state of intense cultivation. Lin Xian handed the matter of recruiting to Wang Li and the others. He told them to strictly check. As long as they met the requirements, they could join. As for him, he went to the True Spirit Palace to get his reward. Soon he arrived at the True Spirit Palace. He found the Guardian Elder and explained his purpose. Oh, you're this time's number one freshman? When the Guardian Elder heard this, he looked at Lin Xian. Yes, that's right. He flicked his finger and inserted 1,000,000 spiritual value points into Lin Xian's spiritual value points card. Then he said in a deep voice, "Follow me." Lin Xian took a deep breath and followed behind. He knew that this should be the way to bring him to the King Stone statue. However, what surprised Lin Xian was that he did not come to a secret room as he had imagined. Instead, he came to a formation. Stand on it and you will be teleported to the king's palace. There, you have 3 days to comprehend it. As for what you can comprehend, it will depend on your luck. After the Guardian Elder finished speaking, he took out a piece of jade from his storage ring and placed it at a gap in the formation. Then he injected spiritual energy into the formation. Immediately, the entire formation bloomed with light and was activated. With a flash of white light, Lin Xian disappeared from the True Spirit Palace. I wonder if this time's freshmen will be able to comprehend the king's inheritance? The Guardian Elder had a trace of anticipation. With a flash of light, Lin Xian's figure appeared. He stabilized his body and quickly dispelled the dizziness from the teleportation. Then he looked around cautiously. The space was a little dim. Only a few luminous pearls on the wall were shining. Lin Xian looked around and found that he was in an ancient palace. The mottled ruins on the wall showed the vicissitudes of this place. It was the smell of time. In front of him there were 5 doors. They were completely black and dozens of feet tall. They were like iron walls. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.